So we're going to be checking out the strike development history from the Gundam development history playlist from Kakarot197. I don't know what we're getting into here, but it's going to be both part 1s, parts 2 for the Skygrasper, and part 3, which is just this again, but for the Alliance and Librarian. So I might know the first one. The Skygrasper, honestly, I completely forgot that was an entire thing, even though it's like the airship that kind of looks like an airship. It's awesome. And then Alliance Librarian, I know that's from the side material that admittedly looks really cool, but I know nothing about it. So let's jump into it. Here we go. Oh, just going to leave a like in advance. That'd be really embarrassing. Huh.
After the successful GAT-X102 duel and GAT-X103 Buster, the Earth Alliance began work on the GAT-X105 Strike, arguably one of the most influential machines of the Cosmic Era, if not the most influential machine, even though at first sight, the machine might not look like a lot. Worse yet, in its...
Is that what the first one looked like? I don't remember so much black on it. Maybe that's just me forgetting altogether.
base form, the Strike looks like a straight-up downgrade from the duel.
Oh yeah, and no actual weapons. Yeah. Granted, this one, the big ability was it can just do the backpack, so it's like, what do you need? We got a thing for that. Buy all copies.
For weapons, it had...
And probably because since Seed was very much a spiritual successor to UC, they amped up all the crazy, all of the melodrama, and did a lot of hits like this one where the initial Gundam was getting the packs to do everything.
The same shield and the same Eagle-Stellung 75mm Seawiz guns, its beam rifle focused more on accuracy by replacing the underslung grenade launcher with a second handle, and instead of two beam sabers, it had two Armor Schneider knives, which were much weaker physical blades, although they were still capable of inflicting serious damage to a Jin. And it was very much the same story with the backpack. Instead of a high-performance backpack with a lot of thrusters, the Strike just gets some thrusters stuck to its back without anything that even looks like a backpack.
Yeah.
Now, it would later on get some extra weapons, like the XM404 Grand Slam.
This must be from one of the games. I've never played the Gundam games, so I don't really know anything. Well, I think I have played some of them, but it wasn't any... I don't think it was this one.
Which was stolen from Zaft, and a very versatile anti-mobile suit bazooka, which has 4 magazines, giving it a lot of capacity, and unlike the beam rifle, it can be used underwater and doesn't consume a lot of energy, which is of course very important for the Strike.
How did it work underwater anyways? Because you think that would still be a problem considering it wasn't meant to be a fish. Or, I mean, a torpedo.
Because...
It's because space magic, don't think about it too hard. Got it.
Like all other Alliance Gundams, it uses the phase shift armor system. A very energy-hungry armor system that was able to block any and all physical attacks.
You know, it's kind of broke when we did that. I'm actually a little surprised I didn't do a thing where they just flicked it on and off when they thought they were about to take damage. Because sure, they're coordinators. They have the techno-biological superiority to remember that. I mean, it worked in Macross.
But even with all of this, the Strike still felt underpowered when compared to its earlier sister units. But before I tell you about the Strike's ace up its sleeve, I want to tell you about FX Creations' official Gundam series.
They do look cool, but we're going to pass that because ad. Still looks cool though.
And now, back to the Strike Gundam and its ace, the Striker Pack system. By developing modular...
They sold the system as a separate kit entirely. You know what? Yeah, this is why Gundam had this probably. It's like, hey, we're going to redo UC, but with a completely different name, but it'll look really similar. Mind if we copy your notes for admittedly a better backpack system that doesn't have some of the problems that, you know, may have bankrupted one company or maybe move them away from Gundam and force us to work with Bandai? Nah, that's cool. Admittedly, it does look cool, and I do appreciate them doing this, but yeah, they're selling a guaranteed model with a separate upgrade kit, but if you want the upgrade kit, you're already going to buy the model. If you want the model, you probably want to get the upgrade kit. And wait, they've done that multiple times? I know. I have been very tempted by them. Every time. Yeah. They even call it big scale. Oh my.
Equipment sets, the strike could be prepped for almost any combat situation.
And see, this is why it's tempting to me, because I look at this and go, ooh, shiny. Yeah. I got a type, and the type is fiddly bits. And then losing said fiddly bits.
Within seconds, making it the most versatile unit around. And on top of extra weapons and thrusters, these packs also had extra batteries to extend the sortie time of the strike. And to make sure that these striker packs could be quickly exchanged, the Alliance's latest and greatest ship, the Archangel, was designed with switching out these striker packs in mind.
Yeah.
At first, 3 striker packs were developed. The High Mobility All-Arounder Ale Striker Pack, the Close Range Sword Striker Pack, and the Heavy Firepower Long Range Launcher Striker Pack.
Okay, so I know this is supposed to be the best pack because mobility for a Gundam is the biggest thing ever. But I got a certain love for probably the worst of them, the Sword Pack, because it's a freaking actual physical giant fuck-off stabby blade. And if you want to cut something, they got a freaking fuck-off beam saber attached to everything else. It's like, why do we need a beam saber with a cap so it doesn't actually cut? And literally, if you ever did anything with this bit right here, it would just be damaging your own weapon. Shut up. But also, it just looks cool, man.
Pack. The Ale Striker Pack was very simply a giant booster unit that was designed by Morgan Ray to enhance the mobility and speed of the Strike Gundam, both in space and on Earth. In space, this allowed the Strike to keep up with the Aegis's incredible speed and to operate alongside it, and on Earth it gave the Strike superior mobility, as well as quasi-flight capabilities. But this first iteration of the Ale Striker was incapable of sustained atmospheric flight, a deficiency that would be solved by later models like the ones used by the Strike Rouge, which we'll talk about later in this video, and the Slaughter Dagger, which I talked about in my Dagger development history.
Yep.
These packs do look visually...
The daggers were the other variations, right? Yeah, of course they are.
Identical, minus the color in the case of the Slaughter Dagger, but they are capable of full independent atmospheric flight. In terms of weaponry then, the pack comes with 2 beam sabers, complemented by the Strike's standard beam rifle and shield. Later on, a space-only version would also be developed by the Fujiyama company, but while it did have improved performance in space, it didn't have the 2 beam sabers, significantly reducing the Strike's close combat capabilities. Which was not the case at all with the Sword Striker pack.
Was it really just this one fight where the sword really got to shine? I mean, there's probably others, but I'm just not pulling any of them to my head. I mean, I know the launcher pack, because long-range shooting is not nearly as cool looking unless it's a giant fuck-off, oh my god, what the hell are we doing, Bartle effects animation level of, oh god, the animators are going to literally just die of exhaustion style animation. You know, considering I was meaning that to be a joke, but I know of exact instances where that style of exhaustion has happened to animators, I probably shouldn't say that. Yeah. And Duck, you take the backpack sets being separate than buying a full MS kit just for the backpack units. Oh yeah, no, I'm not saying it's a bad thing either. But I do love how they actually have that. And if you get the kit, like if someone just like, hey, here's the kit, and you just give that away, you know someone's going to guarantee a sale for the Gundam itself.
It just works. Striker pack that was pretty much built entirely around the Schwertgewehr anti-ship sword. It is described as 15.78 meters, but considering that it's longer than the nearly 18-meter tall Strike, I think it's safe to assume that they're only talking about the length of the blade and not the entire sword. But regardless of how long it actually is, the main goal of this thing was to slice and dice enemy ships as well as enemy mobile suits.
It worked. Granted, considering how much everyone's been codified for all of the Gundam series, to go, hey, it's a beam saber, why not just use the saber part? Yeah, granted, this is not the first show where they've done a physical blade has a point when you have laser weapons. The two obvious one being 00, because that was the entire point of the first main person's Gundam. And I actually forgot his name already. Seiya, I think. And then, of course, Iron-Blooded Orphans, because Gundam Smash is a very valid tactic if said smash is done with all the force. And it'll be honest, some bullshitting everything else along the way.
Something that
it's kind of cool that they've done it multiple times
used for the most throughout its service life. And thanks to the fact that its business end was sharpened as well and didn't rely on a beam, it could also be used when the strike ran out of power or was forced into underwater combat. Whereas,
can we be honest though, the underwater combat was a gimmick even in the show itself. It's like, yeah, they put it in a situation where it made sense, but
standard beam weaponry could not be used. Also, for anyone wondering where the Gewehr part comes into play, which is German for gun, it has a small laser gun at the back end of the hilt.
Okay, I had no idea about that. I also don't speak German, so that's probably why.
However, the version of the Sword Striker that was famously used by the Strike Gundam was a prototype version, and because of this, it had a more conventional beam emitter in its place. The laser gun was supposed...
So technically, if it was a conventional beam emitter, it was literally a dual saber. Oh my god, he could do like the double-sided blades. He could go for full Darth Maul, they just never animated that. This was close enough to the time where it would have been culturally relevant at the time to do a Darth Maul impression, so I'm kind of disappointed they didn't go that way.
Supposedly present in the later production versions of the Schwertgewehr though. To support this giant blade then, it came with the Panzer-Eisen rocket anchor, a compact buckler-esque shield with high defensive capabilities, and a multifunctional rocket propelled...
I'll be honest, I forgot it had a shield. I literally forgot there was a shield there. We've been looking at this entire time and I didn't even notice.
Grappling hook. The claw was powerful enough to destroy weaker armor, or it could be used to catch enemy mobile suits and then drag them within range of the Schwertgewehr.
Or, as you saw here, do nothing.
And to round up its equipment, it came...
Still better than, like, the ball and chain.
...with extra armor for the left shoulder, which also housed...
That I do remember, so that was probably what the beam emitter initially was.
...was the Midas Messer beam boomerang.
Yep.
And so, according to the original plan, this striker pack would allow the strike to engage in...
I know he's calling it a boomerang, but let's be honest, it's a beamerang, thank you very much.
anti-ship combat alongside the Blitz, and
more of a beam knife in the pommel.
Attack on the enemy fleet. Also, while all striker packs do come with extra batteries, the one used on the Sword Striker...
Yeah, you can actually see in the design here that this is something that they carried over into the later designs for the Freedom because of the extra pointy aspects. It does look similar to that shoulder pad design. I wonder if that played into that as well. Considering where they stole the ideas from, yeah, it probably literally did. Just in aesthetics.
It is especially noticeable. And combined with its low energy consumption, this pack can last...
Also, by the way, I don't mean that it is... in-universe design. I meant out-of-universe. Like, that design for the sword might have been a huge inspiration for some of the later Freedom designs, beyond just the standard Gundam template.
That's the longest of all...
And by IRL, I mean, like, the actual designers writing or drawing out the anime.
All three original striker packs. And on the complete opposite end of the spectrum, we have the Launcher Striker pack, which focuses on heavy firepower. On the right shoulder, it has the Combo Weapons Pod, a weapon system that aimed to fix one of the main deficiencies of the Buster.
Lacking guns?
The lack of dedicated close-range defensive weapons. It had a 120mm anti-ship Vulcan, which is also very effective against mobile suits and incoming missiles, and two multi-purpose 350mm gun launchers.
I mean, I know that in all honesty, these are giant missiles that are probably the size of a human, so nothing to laugh at. But only having two of them when spamming all the lasers, all the bullets is everywhere, and all I can think is kind of disappointed. I mean, I just want more than just two. I want to see it mounted everywhere. So you can just go, I know there are Gundams that do that, but it's just to me, when you're going rockets, you don't need a rocket. You need all the rockets. I didn't ask for some. I didn't ask for many. I asked for all the rockets. When you're firing a missile barrage, you don't want to make sure the enemy's dead. You want to make sure the enemy and all of their surrounding equipment and all of their surrounding allies are equally non-existent. You have a nice flat terrain of death to walk through when you're done.
Which could fire a variety of ordnance like missiles and grenades. These could also lock onto multiple targets at once, again allowing the strike to better defend against incoming missile strikes. Its main offensive weapon then is the Agni 320mm high impulse cannon, a massive beam cannon with an equally massive power output. That requires a support arm connected to the backpack to use it, and typically, the strike would even use both hands to hold the Agni for extra stability, but it was capable of operating it only with its left hand, which would then free up the right hand to use.
I hate this. I hate this entire image. This entire thing is designed to cause me pain. Oh God, why would you do that, Kakarot? I mean, I know it's probably not the highest end model, and it looks like the paint is running. It looks like someone was trying to kit bash more things, but just seeing the gun and how much it's already warped and bent, and all I could think is, like, this is probably a knockoff, but it just hurts to look at. Hell, one of the like, one of my models is doing that right now. And like, even that is a smaller bend, and I can't stand it on this. I'm looking at this and going, oh, don't like. Sorry, warping plastic models is literally one of those, nope. And Sarah just mentions, it's a fire around corners. Yeah, I know it's probably a knockoff, but there's
Other
things,
weapons,
man, they're just
like
wrong
the
with this.
high-energy beam rifle. Something that might...
I'm being told this is vinyl, and it's a rather old figure. Yeah. Oh shit, I forgot to put a white shirt on. Usually I do it because the auto correction for the camera does best on white. And look, am I overreacting? No, I stand by what I said. This is painful. Because if you've ever tried to get Forge World resin and having to straighten them out, you realize what I'm expressing right now is not frustration at the product so much as frustration over having to remember what that took. There's a reason a lot of people didn't mind when Forge World went away.
Not have been a bad idea, considering how much energy the Agni used up with a single shot. Despite extra batteries being installed on the backpack, repeated use of the Agni would rapidly drain the strike's energy.
I mean, great if you have a backup, ship to power you, just basically an extra turret. Not much else. Also, Duck, that was probably a $4 model that doesn't move. Okay, so for $4, I could make an exception to all the bullshit I just said. For that price, you can take a lot of bullshit.
And because of this, it was actually possible for an energy cable from the Archangel to be connected to the Agni,
Yep.
turning the launcher strike into a mobile turret. Another downside of the pack...
I mean, admittedly, that's not a bad usage. Sure, it's like gets rid of the entire benefit of having a strike or a Gundam at all holding a weapon, but frankly, doing that with any general dagger or any dumb mech that doesn't really have good mobility as extra turret wherever you need it, whenever you need it, all the time, is kind of valuable.
was that it was very heavy without any extra thrusters to compensate. As a result, it had the lowest mobility of any version and was meant to operate in the back, providing covering fire for the other G weapons, alongside the Buster. However...
yeah, they didn't use it that way. They no one ever used it that way. Also, I see, Siren, you wanted to know if I could do a master roll today if the camera needs a break? Due to dentist stuff, probably won't be going that long, but would like to do it in the future. Yeah.
All of these plans would become completely worthless when Zaf discovered the 5G weapons and managed to steal 4 of them.
Yeah.
Leaving only the Strike Gundam and its Striker packs in the hands of the Alliance. So now, the Strike would be fighting against the machines that it was designed to fight alongside. But it was throughout these fights that both
That is the most cursed image I have seen of Kira. That has to be taken from the background of some animation. Like, not even animation, like they're just doing a poster and he's in the background character here. They didn't even draw his nose. He just has a dot. No, 2 dots for the nose. He got done bad. Like, Krillin has more going on there than him. I mean, in general, also, yes, but that's beside the point.
the strike and its pilot, Kira Yamato, would achieve their legendary status. A legend that almost ended at the Battle of the Marshall Islands, where the Aegis managed to destroy the strike by self-destructing. And it's also at this point that the strike's further development becomes a web of intrigue thanks to Orb's interesting relationship with the Alliance.
Ah, yeah. Bullshit ensues. Got it.
In short, certain factions in Orb are in favor of the Alliance, whereas other factions aren't. Which...
Now, hear me out. I think one of those factions might be evil. I don't know why, but I think one of them, and hear me out, might be bad. Is it the one that is halfway to a JoJo pose? Nah, couldn't be the case.
Which is why Orb did collaborate with the Alliance to create the G-Weapons in the first place, albeit in secret, but also why Orb was still against completely joining the Alliance. So, after the strike got blown up by the Aegis, Orb managed to recover the strike and set out to both fix it and extract all of its secrets.
Espionage, my favorite flavor.
Because, even though Orb had helped them with building the 5G weapons...
Okay, I'm going to pull up this comment because this is hilarious to me. If I had a nickel every time Kira survived a point-blank nuclear detonation, I'd have 2 nickels, which isn't a lot, but it's BS that it happened twice. Yeah, and man, I miss Mobile Suit in Action. That was like so cool. What's Mobile Suit in Action? Rip Bandai Asia, you left us with a cool line of toys. What's Mobile Suit in Action? I don't actually know. Huh. And oh, you have a $5 knockoff of the strike? Honestly, for $5, hell yeah, man. I mean, Bandai isn't exactly as expensive as other sets, but for $5, hell yeah.
During which they also took the liberty to research the technology used in those G-Weapons.
To make a better contribution later.
There were some technologies that the Alliance kept to themselves and that Orb couldn't extract at the time.
I'm being told that Mobile Suit in Action is it was action figures for them. Oh, okay.
Technologies like the phase shift armor. And on top of that, not only did Orb get their hands on the original Strike Gundam, but all of its spare parts as well. Thanks to the general shittiness of the Alliance's leadership, the Archangel and her crew decided to defect and join Orb instead, and stored on board of the Archangel.
And somehow, that didn't become a problem at all. Even though the asshole factions were still in charge of everyone.
Were the recaptured Buster Gundam and all of those spare parts. Spare parts that Orb used to build a second strike, the Strike Rouge. An almost identical...
I'm still disappointed that no one actually made a joke about it's slightly red, so it goes slightly faster. Would that be completely off-brand and utterly a joke insert that shouldn't have been removed immediately? Yes. I still wish they did it.
Unit, with the only differences being that it had an AI support system for the pilot.
Further proof that if you bullshit enough with technology, coordinators had nothing. Also, Duck, if you had Gundam toys from the 2000s, it was most likely MSIA, Mobile Suit in Action. Oddly enough, I had a bunch around that time period, so they probably were that as well. I have also lost all of them. They were all destroyed in some horrible way at some point, usually involving a dog getting into toys and chewing, and let's ignore that part.
Its eyes were...
We didn't always find them right away.
green instead of yellow, and it had a power extender. A system that gave the Strike Rouge more energy for its phase shift armor and beam weapons, and was also responsible for the red look of this Strike variant. A bigger change then were the Striker packs designed for it, like the Integrated Weapons Strike Pack.
I don't care who you are, I don't care if it's good or bad, this just looks cool, man. But again, my entire idea when it comes to Gundam is, does it have enough gun? Yeah, damn! I'm an easy man to please, and this does it.
For IWSP and the Otori Striker Pack. But before we can talk about those, we have to go back to the original Strike Gundam. Because even though the 3 packs that came with the thing were usually used separately, the companies involved with their production also promoted the idea that they could be used together. This monstrosity of a Striker pack was known as the Multiple Assault Striker, and the Strike was...
I'm assuming this is the it needs an actual Evangelion style plug or it runs out of power immediately. Yeah.
Now nicknamed the Perfect Strike. The only problem was
it had no
that
power.
It wasn't quite as perfect as the name would want you to believe.
I mean, I could see the sword and the flight pack working, but as soon as you throw this thing in, man, even a pretense of having power goes out the window.
It was, in fact, little more than all 3 Striker packs duct taped together, with some extra battery packs precariously hanging off the Ale Striker stabilizer fin.
Oh, that's what those were?
In an attempt to give this thing a somewhat reasonable operational time.
If only they had, and hear me out, some way to cancel the canceling against nuclear energy so that they could, and I know this is going to be crazy, like cancel the jammer or something. Nah, that'd be too crazy, man. That would be a massive power spike. Can you imagine if this show did something like that?
But even if we put those energy concerns to the side for a second, while all these weapons did theoretically allow the Strike to deal with any threat at any range, it added a great deal of bulk and weight to the Strike. Yeah. And remember, even the launcher Striker by
admittedly, if they just took the launcher off, it would probably be fine.
Itself was said to have a great impact. Now imagine how things must have been with all of this other extra stuff. But don't worry, in order to save on dead weight, empty batteries could be jettisoned. Perfect. Problem solved.
But also, they do need to go back and then collect the batteries, or they're just making a lot more of them. I mean, functionally, it's really cool looking, which is the only reason you do it. But also, fuck it, it's cool is a valid reason. I'm going to stand by that.
Another problem was how difficult it was to operate with the large amount of varied weapons. Something that probably also wasn't helped by the fact that 2 of its main weapons, the Agni and the Schwertgewehr, were 2-handed weapons that were now being treated as single-handed weapons.
On the one hand, yeah. On the other hand, I kind of thought this was more hip-mounted regardless. The sword could be a problem, but this makes a lot more sense. I mean, if you're bracing against the entire body, you might as well just have the second mounting point be the hip. It looks cool.
As a result, the Strike's original pilot would only use the Striker packs in their original configuration. Although, according to some sources, there was a little bit of mixing and matching, but it wouldn't be until...
I mean, yeah, the pack to get more mobility is going to always be awesome. There's the reason it's considered the best. And if anyone disagrees with me on that one, okay, they probably just like giant shooty weapon as well, and I completely understand that.
Till ace pilot Mula Flogger took over the controls, that the Perfect Strike would enter combat. And despite booking very impressive results, the aforementioned problems led Mood to the same conclusion. The Perfect Strike wasn't so perfect after all.
Although I'll be completely fair, despite all the, like, it's a horrible idea. If someone has a toy of this and they can show a link to it, While it's not nearly as tempting as a Tallgeese variant, oh, baby, it's the right level of jank for me, man. It's just all the random fiddly bits.
But
Mu is a new type?
this didn't stop the quest
He's definitely a type
to
of something.
combine the 3 striker packs into one. An endeavor now spear.
Oh, yeah, they did have something that was kind of like a new type. It wasn't a new type in Seed as well. I forgot what they were called. Whatever.
Headed by Orb. The IWSP was originally developed by PMP, but was dropped after running into many of the same problems as with the multiple assault striker. It was difficult to use, heavy, and energy hungry. However, the project was picked up again by Morgan
That's a bit of art, okay.
Rate at a later date, after they managed to overcome the energy problems by installing a more advanced battery pack. And by then equipping it to the Strike Rouge, it would get an even longer operating time thanks to its power extender. What didn't change though was how difficult it was to pilot with all of those different weapons.
But again, rule of cool on this one, man. Just because it's stupid doesn't mean it's bad. Usually it does, but sometimes it's fun. And this definitely hits the fun aspect. Yeah, it's only too bad Kigali got put on a bus almost immediately.
For ranged combat, it had 2
Hey,
105mm cannons, 2 115mm railguns, a 57mm high energy beam rifle, and the combined shield, which houses a 30mm 6-barrel Gatling gun and a Midas Messer beam boomerang.
That was supposed to be a boomerang? What is with this love of boomerangs? Probably the same love of bits in general that they just kind of add to everything. Yeah. Also, according to Z, Seed does have new types, but they are not Polecat. But in Freedom Movie, they have a bunch of new weirdo who are genetically engineered to have mind reading from new types. Okay, sure. I haven't seen the new movie. I didn't realize it was a new movie. I thought it was just redoing the old show again, but apparently it's different. Unless I'm wrong, they just added new bits.
And because of its weight, it can cause balance issues by shifting the strike's center of gravity to the left. The main melee weapons then are 2 9.1 meter anti-ship swords, which are based on the Schwertgewehr.
Also,
their shorter
big sword.
length does make them easier to handle, and since they're purely physical swords, they also minimize energy usage.
Also, they look cool. I'm very biased.
And what it got from the Ale Striker then is its speed, mobility, and the general shape of the pack. And in addition to that, it was also capable of self-sustained atmospheric flight. Originally, it was planned to mount this pack onto the Strike Rouge, which was piloted by Kigali Yula Alta, the daughter of Uzuminara Alta, the chief representative of Orb. A combination that no doubt would have been a great morale boost to the units fighting alongside her. But unfortunately, diplomatic relations between the Alliance and Orb were rapidly breaking down as the war entered a new period of major offensives.
And they might have found out that they were kind of, harboring people who defected with all the cool shit and didn't die when they're supposed to. There's little things like that.
Desperate to get Orb and their facilities on their side, the Alliance invaded Orb, and Kigali didn't have time to master the extremely difficult to use IWSP.
Yep. And again, she was then put on a bus and the show, and apparently everything after that kind of forgot about her completely, which is weird because I always thought she was one of the more interesting characters who then just dropped the ball. And they instead focus on Lacus and the Seed Destiny. It was the fake Lacus who wasn't even as interesting as the real Lacus. Personal opinion on that one. And Steven, aside from Stargazer and Astray, the entire timeline sucks. So do most of their mobile suits and Gundams with bitter few exceptions. Honestly, I actually don't mind the mobile suits themselves. I mean, sure, a lot of them are janky, but a lot of the things in the UC are janky too. I don't mind jank, so maybe I'm biased in that favor.
Instead, opting to launch with the upgraded Ale Striker pack, which was now capable of sustained atmospheric flight as well. So, outside of a few photo ops for propaganda purposes, the Strike Rouge would never use the impressive looking IWSP. Another issue that plagued the IWSP then was poor reliability and maintainability due to its highly complex structure. Something that did prompt Morganrate to continue developing this striker pack.
Ooh, so things came for it later.
Resulting in the Otori striker pack, which was a
Okay, that does look cool. I mean, it's basically just wings with more missiles on it. They very much went atmospheric on this one. But it looks neat, and that's a very big fuck-off cannon in the back. Thank you very much. Oh my.
simplified and therefore also more reliable version of the IWSP, which was also more powerful to boot. For ranged options, it still had the 57mm high-energy beam rifle, but now also got a plethora of missile launchers.
I don't remember this art. This is probably from one of the later OVAs or something that I just don't know about.
A railgun on the left side, and then for its most powerful weapon, a beam launcher on the right side. Essentially a downscaled version of the Launcher Striker's Agni. Meanwhile, its main melee weapon then was no longer downsized. The IWSP used two smaller physical blades, but the Otori went with a single large beamified blade. I guess energy conservation was less of an issue for the Otori than it was for the IWSP. And what it also had were drop tanks with Mirage colloid particles for some reason.
Did they just get added in, they forgot to do something with them? I mean, sure, if the show's running long, why not? But it's kind of weird.
The exact details are unknown.
Also, I'm being told it's from Destiny. Yeah, that would be why I forgot all about it then.
But since these are the particles that are mainly known for cloaking the Blitz, it is most likely for some kind of stealth system.
Espionage.
Finally then, the Otori also had the capability to operate as its own independent unit. And if similar units are anything to go by, it can either be remote controlled by the Strike or controlled by an AI. And fortunately, Kigali was able to master the Otori, and she would actively use it in combat during the Second Bloody Valentine War.
I don't remember any of this at all.
Until it was destroyed when she lent it to her brother.
Gotta love Kira Yamato's scale. Throw the speedy pack away and then fight them without it. Also, Steven, Kigali became a doormat due to... Oh, actually, I'm going to pull this up because this is something I haven't heard about before. Due to behind-the-scenes drama between her Seryu and the writer who thought she was sleeping with the husband, the director. Oh. I mean, I'm more curious now. Was that going on? Because, oh, damn. Also, Turn Tomorrow is the HD remaster of Destiny. Oh, okay. I never saw that one. Damn, though. That's, I'd say that's a deep cut, but also, if is it even a real thing? I don't know. Also, Z, he was defending the ship? Ah, the Gunner Zaku Warrior is a cool design. Honestly, I think most of the designs aren't bad. Despite all of my bullshitting about Destiny, I don't have much issue with their design of mobile suits. I think they're fine. It's basically because I think the General Zaku, the General Zaf design, the General Zeon design is fine, perfectly fine. Maybe not my thing, but I don't have anything wrong with it. And since a lot of Seed was just doing that again, yeah, I never minded it because I was like, oh yeah, spiritual successor to UC, but without all of the late series timeline issues or without the Gundam Savior is technically part of it. And the live action is technically canon, except for it's not canon, but maybe it is canon because I don't know anymore. Hell if I know. There's the Reconquista stuff that I have no idea what to make of.
But this wasn't as big of a problem as it might seem, because Orb still had a top secret ace up its sleeve.
It's so secret, we didn't even know it was secret. It was so secret when our entire island was blown up, we didn't even know it was secret. It's a giant mobile suit hidden away, man. It's kind of a trope in its own right.
Strikingly golden ORB-01 Akatsuki Gundam. The amalgamation of everything Orb had learned from the strike,
and all of the remaining budget literally painted on the surface,
combined with their own top-of-the-line technology. And it was precisely because this was such a high-tech unit that its development was very protracted. We don't know exactly when it began, but supposedly it was being worked on at the same time the strike was in development, with any and all data they managed to acquire from the strike and the other G weapons immediately being implemented. Which I guess then makes it somewhere in between a sister unit and a development from the strike. And because of this, it's also rumored that the base mobile suit was already completed even before Orb got invaded by the Alliance in the first Bloody Valentine War. But the Akatsuki Gundam at this time was...
Oh. Build Fighter Akatsuki Custom. Okay. Is it weird that I kind of like it's white? Not because it looks like it should be this color, but because I think this would be one where it's like, yeah, I can spray paint this. With all the moving parts, I never would actually bother to do that because you move it slightly the wrong way and all the painting angles you have doesn't work anymore. But I think that if I tried, you could do something with this. Like, really go all out on personal customization on this one. Yeah, maybe that's just my opinion, though.
Still a pretty different unit. It didn't have its golden armor yet, and not even its weapon systems were completed. And even without all that, the development costs of the Akatsuki were already ballooning. Combine this with the fact that it was meant as a standard mass production machine and not
oh, that was supposed to be mass production.
And you can see why Orb put its development on halt. With the threat of the Alliance's invasion looming overhead, they instead put everything they had in the production of the M1 Astray, a mobile suit that was ready to be produced. But as we all know, this wasn't where the story of the Akatsuki ended.
Is it?
After the First War...
the all know part is very much missing on me because I don't know what happened after that because I'm pulling blanks on this, man. Yeah. Also, basically reflective armor from Battletech, useless against ballistic weapons. But considering how everyone was hyping up all of the lasers everywhere, maybe the right choice, and probably more energy efficient.
Development would continue, and there was also a shift in design philosophy. Based on the performance of the Gundam-type machines and their ability to single-handedly change the course of a battle, it was decided to also turn the Akatsuki into such a machine.
What?
A decision that then led to the Akatsuki that we all know and love today. But of course, also a decision that made the already expensive Akatsuki even more ridiculously expensive. Its armor might not be actual gold, but at this point, that probably would have been cheaper.
She actually had to blind her, or like close her eyes because it was blinding. Oh my god, I just noticed that.
Because it is
I don't remember this at all.
Set of nanoscale beam diffracting lattice layers.
Technobabble was formed by combining techno, meaning technical and technology, with babble, continuously meaningless vocal sounds. And unsurprisingly suggests language which sounds highly technical and is incomprehensible to the listener. I have no idea what we're referencing here. That would be so impossible.
And ultra-fine critical plasma suppression layers. This armor by itself can already deflect any beam attack thrown at it, including a battleship-class positron cannon.
Yeah.
But on top of that, thanks to the Akatsuki sensor...
But wouldn't a positron be... This is technobabble. I'm not supposed to think about it that hard.
The attack is sent right back at the one who fired it. And this wasn't just limited to beam attacks. The armor also allowed the Akatsuki to penetrate beam shields. And the name of this system was the Yata no Kagami, literally meaning the 8 Ata mirror.
I don't actually know what ata means. Oh, it's literally 7 inches. Can we all acknowledge that suddenly feels like someone's that seems a very distinct choice of words. Like, oh yeah, I can give you all the 8 inches you want right back. Sorry, the 7 inches you want. I can't tell if they're... Is this... Yeah, let's just not go into this one. I think someone else already did, and it's probably a bit too NTR on that one.
With ata being an ancient Japanese unit of measurement. And in real life, the Yata no Kagami is one of the 3 sacred treasures of the Japanese imperial
Perfectly
family.
average, yes.
But there were 2 main problems with this system. And the first one was price. Getting a whole...
Also, unironically, while they do have paints that could do that level of shine, and there are some good ones for silver, I don't even want to think about how finicky and just smudge prone anything gold would be. Like that's almost a godsend of, okay, we got it down once, and now the best thing is we can never touch the model again. Because if you paint it like that, congratulations. It will be ruined the first time any human skin oil gets on it. You can never do this without gloves. And even with gloves, particulate matter might become visible. So it needs to be a vacuum sealed room on top of that.
Mobile suit outfitted with just this armor system would cost the equivalent of producing over 20 M1 Astrays.
Yeah, I think they made the right choice.
As a side note though, I know that this is meant to be like, wow, that is so expensive. No wonder.
On the other hand, this probably did more than 20 Astrays.
They only made 1. But given the attrition rates that we see in the Cosmic Era, I think that this could actually be a bargain. But the second problem could be more substantial.
Life is cheap. Everyone blows up.
The Yata no Kagami was developed with the future battlefield in mind, where the designers falsely assumed that only, or at the very least, mostly, beam weapons would be used. And as a result, it offers no added protection against physical attacks. And while beam weapons did become the norm, physical attacks were still very present on the battlefield.
Yeah.
Oftentimes as secondary weapons, but sometimes even as main.
Also, I'd like to point out, just add nukes over here. Yeah, I mean, if they got them.
Main weapons. And
although saying no to the first strike is usually really useful, because as soon as you do that, fall back and let the anti-physical take over.
Deal with this, the Akatsuki had 2 options, both of which would rely heavily on the skill of the pilot. Dodge, or tank the attack with the small portion of regular armor on its Type 71 experimental defensive shield.
I mean, admittedly, if they didn't make it regular, but they gave it the anti-physical coating that the Gundams had, might be worth it. But also, dodge is always the superior option.
Which, despite its name, could also be used offensively thanks to its sharpened edge. Also,
shield bash is a thing.
Being able to block ranged beam attacks, melee beam attacks could still penetrate the Yata no Kagami. And to make matters worse yet, the joints weren't even coated, making for some weak points that could be exploited by an enemy ace. So,
again, I know they were trying to build up the guy there, I think his name was Shin or something, as this is the real main character of Destiny. Oh, by the way, no, he's the villain boss you have to watch be destroyed at the end. Also, they capped out on that one and didn't actually destroy him. I didn't care for him at all. Like, I never really cared about him as a character. It's like, yeah, Arthur's here, and he's kind of interesting, but they're like, we're going back to the, well, now you're back in the army, and you have to deal with bullshit. Why did you go back? I know the show went into something that just yeah, there were issues there, man. There were significant issues.
Despite being an amazing system, it is more difficult to handle than it might appear at first. Moving on to...
Could they just put this coating on a Gundam that already had the anti-physical weapons? Probably too expensive. Corinne, does anyone know the answer to your question? I don't... Oh, your question was, so you did Encounter 2 series called Alien Stage and Zombie Stage, which are interconnected and have other people listening to them on YouTube. I mostly just don't do music because I just don't get musical all the time. Sometimes the story gets me, but generally it's just not really my thing. Mostly because it's like, my general take is, oh, that's cool, but I don't really know what else to say. And Duck, the Delta Gundam is chrome-plated with the same Unit 3 of the Unicorn Destroy mode version. Are we talking chrome-plated like in the show or chrome-plated in the actual model itself? In which case, it looks really good, but it's just, if they could make it so it didn't immediately smudge, that would be amazing in so many ways.
The Akatsuki's own weapons. It's got a pair of M2 M5D 12.5mm Seawiz guns, which are the same model as the Todesrecken Seawiz guns that are used by the Alliance, the Type 73J2 experimental twin beam saber, which can be used either together or separately and are stored onto the left side skirt, and the Hyakurai Type 72 D5 beam rifle. A development of the Strikes beam rifle.
I'm being told it was the model that's all silver.
Yeah. It has superior firepower and speed, and instead of the second handle, it now has a mounting hole for the beam sabers, turning them...
I mean, unironically, that's just cool. Probably very power intensive, but also... it's freaking bayonets, man.
...into a beam bayonet. And when not in use, the beam rifle can be stored onto the right side skirt. The real firepower, then, comes from the Akatsuki's version of the Striker packs, the Owashi Sky Pack and the Shiranui Space Pack, both of which were also protected by the same armor system as the main body of the Akatsuki. Let's start by having a look at the Owashi. As you can probably already tell from its shape, the Owashi was a development from the Otori. It gave the Akatsuki atmospheric flight capabilities, and for weapons, it came with two Type 73F Kai high-energy beam cannons.
Ah, damn, they got me on that one. It just has more DACA. And a cool shield. Yeah, they got me. Also, according to Duck, never get the real grade of this thing. Why? It blows? Oh. I'm assuming it's very smudge-prone if they actually had the really good shine on it.
They extend when in use, and they also have an optional handle, presumably for better firing accuracy. And as an added bonus, the pack could also detach itself in combat to act as a support fighter.
Not bad, but
be
worth it?
Controlled by the pilot or by the onboard AI.
Oh, they did more AI on that one. Okay.
Things get really crazy with the Shiranui Space Pack and its M531R guided mobile beam turret system. Orb's take on the Dragoon system.
Yeah.
Its performance is roughly equal to that of the first generation Dragoon system.
Oh. And they did shrink it down a lot, so there's just less to be hit on it. And probably a lot lighter, too. Okay. Also, Harry mentioned it was the last real grade before they got good. Oh, so the real grades now are half decent. I've only done high grade stuff because most of them were really cheap and really actually something I could grab easily and quickly and just start building right away. That last part mattered a bit.
Used by machines like the Providence.
Also, and Wave has the P-Bandai version of the strike packs. Oh, I'm going to pull this up because this looks just downright exotic and awesome. That comes with additional parts to shore up the ancient MS joints parts it's based on. Ooh. And lest anyone forget, welcome to Airier gets tempted by all the Gundam goodness out there and just goes, I don't need this. I don't need this the entire time while biting their lip and trying to pretend they don't need this, but knowing that the entire Discord is going to be filled with all of the really cool designs, and Duck will probably point out like, hey, here's a link to the Gundam I know you like, and it's on sale. I've been able to hold off so far, but it's been so damn hard.
But despite being a little bit outdated, it was definitely able to compensate. It consisted of 7 turrets with 3 beam cannons each, being a main one and 2 sub ones.
Oh.
Although in the anime, it seems to only use the main beam cannon for offensive purposes.
I mean, bigger gun and it fires in the correct direction kind of helps. Unless they're doing the bending laser thing that I've seen some shows do, which I don't think they did in this one.
With the other ones only being used for generating a beam barrier. And not only is this beam barrier powerful enough to stop a positron cannon,
damn,
it is also large enough to completely envelop an allied warship, or a number of allied mobile suits. These are some really versatile things.
Okay, never mind, those are powerful.
The only downside is that they require a pilot with high spatial awareness to operate.
I wonder where we would find a person like that. If only he was in this show and hadn't died in the previous one and then been utterly wasted when they brought him back without explaining anything, but did that in a side story, but you never actually see that in the show itself, and it absolutely pissed me off when the obvious reveal was obvious to everyone but him because they're like, oh, I can't remember. Again, my problem with Destiny were a lot of the writing decisions with the characters being wasted. I still think the models are cool. Like, the Gundams themselves are cool.
And if these packs weren't enough, later on the Akatsuki Gundam would also be outfitted with the Zeus silhouette. But since that equipment was developed for the Destiny Gundam Spec 2, we'll talk more about that when I get to the Destiny.
Yeah, I don't know why, but something about the wings, they just don't do it for me, which is weird because, I mean, I like the Endless Waltz version of Gundam Wing that had actual feathers as part of the design, and I saw the Tallgeese variation with it before it went to Wing, and all I could say is it looks so cool, but here, it just doesn't do it for me, which is weird because this is a really cool looking model. I could never get into this one.
Gundam's development history. So simply put, when in the right hands, the Akatsuki Gundam was a beast. While the designers' first goal of making a mass production unit was a failure, their new goal of making a Gundam type that was capable of single-handedly turning the tide of a battle was a resounding success. Because when the Akatsuki first hit the battlefield, it did exactly that. With Kigali Yula Atha behind the controls, the Akatsuki was able to prevent Orb from suffering another crushing defeat.
Again.
And later on, the machine would be passed on to Mula Flaga, an ace pilot who had the high spatial awareness required to operate the Shiranui pack.
They keep saying spatial awareness like that's not reaction time. I don't know why, because reaction time and just memory is what you're talking about, but I guess they're talking about spatial awareness as something separate. I notice they've been doing that frequently, but they're just, spatial awareness is just, I remember where objects are based on my positioning and don't forget it. For example, if you want to see what a lack of spatial awareness looks like, or object memory, it's look at an animal that thinks you disappear when you're not fully visible, and then they're excited you reappear because they don't know you're there, because you don't see them, it's not there. That's what the equivalent would be. Maybe that's just me, but this is something he's brought up many times, and it's just something in Seed. The more I hear it, the more I start having an issue with it. Yeah.
For Orb, this truly was...
Because again, yeah, I'm sorry, I'm actually stuck on this one. It feels like they're using the word. That word does not mean what they think it means.
The zenith of the Stride Gun.
Although it's being translated from Japanese. So maybe in Japanese it does mean what they think it means, and the translated word is close enough. It doesn't actually mean in English because it doesn't translate well. For all I know, that could be the case.
But there is still one more striker pack that...
Oh. Okay. That's cool. I just I don't see a single sticker that's really a predominant feature. Like there's some on here, but they're just details. That's Oh, yeah. Okay, I think we've hit the I need it stage of the video because holy shit, man. I don't have the slightest clue where this is. I don't care. That is so cool. I mean, told this is a metal build. Oh, normally I'd say I don't really go for metal models, but then again, I mean, Infinity, they're metal and they're really damn good. And oddly enough, a little more durable, which I kind of like. Just spray paint them with a paint that can hold on really well and you're proudly set.
We have to.
And I'm being told that cost $400. And then Duck clarified it is, yep, because it's a metal build. Do you want to spend over $300? There's always that little catch, isn't there? Oh.
Talk about the P204QX Lightning Striker. This striker pack first saw...
I mean, theoretically, if we found a way to do it on stream, it would be a tax write-off. I mean, I won't because the tax write-off is never worth as much as just not spending in the first place, but oh god, it's tempting.
The light of day when the Alliance wanted to extend the combat time of the strike.
Also, I'm being told it's a figure, not a Gunpla model. Oh, see, building that would have been the fun part.
By 150%. They first contracted IDEX, who managed to lay down the groundwork for this pack, but then ran into problems meeting the required 150%. They thought they could simply use larger and heavier batteries to solve this problem, and then offset the hit to its mobility with stronger thrusters. But they then realized that these required cooling systems for use in space, which added weight, which...
They actually, like, okay, so all of the technobabble, and don't worry about it, that's been going on in the seat, and they actually realized you need a lot more cooling in space because space is an insulator. Seed got that right. I'm sorry, this is actually something that bugs me IRL, considering the entire Elon Musk space station with AI plants or whatever in there, the data centers in space. The cooling is so absurd, it just doesn't work. Seed got this right. Seed, of all the freaking things, of all the bullshit they've randomly thrown in there, it's like, just don't think about it. And I just run over because rule of cool. And they got this actual detail right because space needs more cooling because, again, space is an insulator. It keeps heat nearby because it doesn't have a way to dissipate it as fast. Seed, like if this was Iron Blooded Orphans talking about that, cool. They're down to earth enough. I could see that. Wing going IRL stuff would be weird in general, and so out of the nowhere I'd be kind of shocked in its own right. But Seed, really?
Required even stronger thrusters, etc. So they were back to square one. And this is where Morgan Raid came in with their superior battery technology.
And they're still just showing me this is such an absolutely beautiful model. I'm being told it's metal. It's like $400 and it's an actual full model, not a kit to build it. But damn, is that pretty.
Creating the Lightning Striker that we all know today. It comes with extra batteries on the back skirts and a very unique looking backpack that combines thrusters, heat sinks, and range-finding sensors. Sensors that were of course very useful for its main weapon, the Type 7031 electromagnetic...
I'm being told the Lightning Striker is only $140, but the metal build Meteor unit was around $800.
Magnetic cannon. Or
that's a number.
A sniper railgun, if you prefer. Because on Earth, it could hit targets up to 120 kilometers away, 75 miles.
Damn.
And in space, up to 10,000 kilometers away.
I mean, on the one hand, yes. On the other hand, why? Like, the big limiting factor would be matter in the way and... you know, the curvature of the Earth. So hitting 75 miles means you're going pretty high up and firing over the range, or you're even planning in some bullshit there. Why only 6,000 miles in space? Because isn't that like significantly less when you're in space distances? Because every Gundam fight takes place at the range of literally knives. And I don't mean that metaphorically. I mean like the Strike Gundam had actual knives, and that's the range some of the fights went. So yeah, I guess that makes more sense why that sounds cool, but no one's going to use it that way.
About 6,200 miles. And if that still wasn't enough, according to the metal build figure, it could also enter an ultra long range mode in space.
I mean, in IRL terms, your range in space only comes down to your range in calculation and taking into account all of the variable effects that would affect, well, how you might influence the shot's trajectories. Gravitic fluctuations, microparticles that might disrupt it or nudge it off. Maybe just not accounting for random asteroids if you're going full long range. Or if you're even trying to slingshot it around a planet to bend the arc of it because gravity wells do affect it. Again, gravity in space is a thing. Slingshot effect is a thing. Really, your range is less range and more accuracy, which is probably what they're doing here. But if you want to do some really fucked up shit, you could throw something at Pluto from the Earth if you're already in space, and you do all of the work to figure out the trajectories, and the time to get there isn't a problem. Orbital mechanics are bullshit. Also, according to Duck, you're bad. The Striker pack and weapon, that is only $140. Oh, yeah. And Alan, don't forget air, drag, and friction. Would friction matter when it comes to a plasma thing that kind of burned its way through? Air drag, I thought, would be less drag and more like taking the time to burn through it before it dissipates all its energy. Friction, I'm not sure would be a problem for it, though. Maybe. I'm not entirely sure how the plasma bolts work or whatever the equivalent of it is. These are not actually lasers, but they're also weird in how they work. And range in space is wonky? Yes. Let's just not think about it too much.
That could effectively hit a target at 380,000 kilometers, which is a lot of miles.
It's a bit far.
Despite this, though, during testing, it was actually deemed more successful for its other feature.
What?
Because it had so much battery power.
Why does it keep getting cooler looking? Oh, God. Oh, that's so cool. Like, you can see the top side's cool, but then the underside has just as much detail. Oh, how insane are the metal model kits?
Or it could easily provide energy to the other machines on the battlefield. But unlike
that's just not fair, man.
The Lightning Striker wouldn't be of too much use to Orb. Because of reasons, they never handed...
And Steven? Agreed. Very much agreed.
...the prototype of the Striker pack over to the Alliance. But when they finally decided to test it out for themselves with the Strike Gundam and Mulaflaga,
MP Bandai 2 Duck?
It got tangled up in a fight that forced them to abandon the pack, where the Alliance then managed to recover it, repaired it, and finally got it to use them.
You know what? I can't believe I'm going to say this, but I think Hiro Yui had the right idea. Blow up the Gundam. It probably works out better that way. So many issues would be solved if, and hear me out, self-destruct was a thing you could do. A lot of the problems would just be gone immediately.
Themselves. Also, in some depictions, you will...
Even that's cool on a plastic model. I'd still like it. That just, again, it's more DACA, so I'm fine with this. Also, Duck, the reason why metal builds are triple-digit prices... Yeah. I've seen a lot of stuff where it's like, hey, it's really expensive, but it's shit. This is really expensive, but it looks so cool. Couldn't they make it shit so I don't feel as tempted? I'm not going to, because, I mean, if I bulk at $50 for some of the kits, man, I'm not going to do like 400 to 800. Dear God, no, but still.
We'll see more weapons on the Lightning Striker, but officially, it only has the railgun, which can also be stored on the lower arms when not in use.
And you could probably see that these open up into the other ones, or is it a separate kit altogether? I don't even know, and I don't care. It looks cool either way.
And then really finally, beyond these immediate developments, the strong...
Also, Z, the Hiro Yui self-destructed Jackal because they repaired the wing? Yeah. The thought is there. The outcome, not so much.
Like, also
Master grade is the consolation prize. To be fair, I've seen the perfect grades as well, man. They look so cool, but also at the same time, yeah. I kind of like high grade, though, because generally they're so cheap that I'm fine with anything they put in. And the things I've checked out were pretty cool.
had an influence
Minus
on
the
other
stickers.
units produced by Orb. For example, the backpack of the M1 Astray and the Eclipse Gundam.
But I don't recognize this one. Did we do this one already? I kind of like this one, though. Like, this is cool. This is cool. This one looks like it just got rammed to the back by a jet fighter, except not in the cool way. Oh, an order. Your order is getting shipped, which means you got the RG Wing Zeros this time next week. Oh, please send pictures.
Which got its own striker pack system. So, to go back to my statement from the beginning, I don't think it's an exaggeration to say that the Strike was an extremely influential mobile suit, and we're barely even halfway done.
What?
We still have to
There's
look at what
more?
the Alliance and Librarian Works did with the Strike.
Yeah, because the more I hear about Librarian, the more I'm like, oh yeah, this is the crazy stuff. Also, Duck, I paint minis, use skills. I have enough skill to make it look like I actually have skill, but not enough to really have it.
And at the development of the Strike's famous support fighter, which I think I'll be tackling next. So, I'll see you then. Don't forget to check out FX Creations' Gundam Seed lineup with the link down below.
I hate how I kind of like that you have a gun that actually fires water. I'm easily amused, okay? And next up, we have the Sky Grasper. Wow, I can't speak today. Sky Grasper development history. This one, we're going to drop in and just see where it goes because the answer is probably insane, and I'm here for this. Because so far, what we saw was a lot of really weird designs that kept getting cooler and cooler, and I really want to see where this goes. Just gonna leave a like in advance. Seriously, those metal models, man. Oh, these were a thing of
Gundam
beauty.
was an extremely versatile and effective mobile suit for the Alliance. And so, to make it even more versatile, the FX 550 Sky Grasper was developed as a support fighter for the Strike. Or at least that's the most common version of this story. Because, as is so often the case, the truth is a bit more complicated.
Oh?
And it all began
it just
with
looks like
the
an actual
F-7D
spaceship.
Spearhead, a multi-purpose air superiority fighter made by PMP.
Again, I'm wondering if this will hold true, but in a lot of Gundam, aerial fighters and just fighters in general are utterly shit until you get to the very high end, and then they dominate even some of the Gundams in the universe. I really want to see this. Yeah, and Duck, because the last time he didn't list it, was Yik. Yeah, 20 minutes of Yik broke me. It was getting to the, oh, by the way, the love interest was a real life horrible death instant, and learning about that just kind of, the guy doing the review of Yik did a good job. The thing he was reviewing, there were choices made.
This bad boy was the main fighter used by the Alliance during the First Bloody Valentine War. And unlike what you might be expecting, it was actually a very effective tool to fight off enemy mobile suits. While machines like the Din did have better mobility and firepower,
they took it down.
Spearhead had much better speed and range, allowing,
which, as far as a fighter goes, is the most important things. Even more than mobility and firepower, because if you're going so fast, the other person can't aim in time to hit you. Yeah, that works. And it's not like these are hit scan weapons, so they don't have to worry about that. And range is, if I shoot you before you know I'm there and I get to that point fast enough that you don't know I'm there, I think that works. This is surprisingly good.
Them to intercept mobile suits at longer ranges and then wear them down with hit and run tactics. And on top of that, even though they had less firepower, they still had enough firepower, being 4 20mm machine guns, a drum-type launcher with 6 missiles, and a weapons bay. And if that wasn't enough, On one occasion, the Spearhead showed that it had close combat capabilities as well. Edward Harrelson got
Really? Really? Of course they gave the plane a knife. Everything in Gundam needs melee. Like, I'm okay with that when it's a Gundam because rule of cool, but a plane? Not even like a laser sword sticking out, but like an actual physical knife. Those are our choices, all right. Okay.
the nickname Ed the Ripper after he cut a Din special electronic installation type in half with the wings of his spearhead. Ed claims that he totally did this on purpose, but there are also rumors that he was just hungover. Unsurprisingly,
Okay. That's the story.
he would
I'm
later
assuming he
go
dies.
on to become a close combat specialist as a mobile suit pilot, with his most famous machine being the Sword Calamity,
What?
which he then stole because, you know, that's what happens to Gundams in the Cosmic Era.
I'm assuming this is from one of the OVAs then. Sure, why not? Sword Calamity, aka Sword Goes Swing. Yeah, that makes sense. There are so many animations and things about Seed beyond the shows I remember that it's just too much to keep up with. Huh. Still insane though.
Someone really should have told him about the benefits of using a
Boo.
VPN, not just get a sweet discount.
I mean, getting a VPN in general is something I would recommend, but it's not my ad. And I don't actually get charged with saying I have an ad in my video when I'm not the one doing it, because apparently that's something that happens every now and again. Yeah, that's weird. The ad said it wouldn't... Here we go. That's where the ad actually ends.
Sweet discount, but you'll also be supporting the channel. But back to the Spearhead now. It also had VTOL capabilities and would often be used as a carrier-based fighter by the Alliance Navy, increasing their effective range even further. It wouldn't be until...
So let me get this straight. The thing that you use a carrier for in a traditional Navy was useful in a Gundam franchise. That is still weird to say, because usually when you have Gundam, all type of aircraft, tanks, even Gundam-inspired tanks suddenly become useless because it's the rule of cool with giant mech win. It's kind of weird Seed didn't immediately shit on aircraft because, I mean, everything else died horribly, just not that. Maybe the designers just really liked them.
the introduction of the Jet Striker pack at some point before the Second Bloody Valentine War that the Spearhead would be replaced as the main aerial fighter for the Alliance. But even then, it could still be seen as a support fighter or as a reconnaissance aircraft. So to say that these fighters served with distinction would be an understatement. And as a result, not everyone in the Alliance leadership was so eager to replace them with mobile suits, which in their eyes were coordinator inventions made for coordinators. And
I mean, other than in space where their being a dumbass had an effect, it kind of worked. Yeah. But also, what happens if they ever just did the AI, which apparently they have, to pilot the ships and basically make giant drone swarms? They already did that in Wings, so they probably wouldn't do it again just yet.
on top of that, even though their mobile armors in space were still having a hard time, they were no longer suffering as badly as they were at the beginning of the war.
Yeah.
And so PMP didn't pitch the Skygrasper as the strike's delivery boy, but as an advanced tactical fighter that also just happened to have the ability to act as a support fighter for the strike.
Which admittedly is useful.
You can really tell by its standard weapons that it was meant to fight against enemy mobile suits by itself. It had a
Yeah, it's like they gave the best pilot ever. They made their Char, and they just didn't put him in a mask right away. Also, when, again, F91 had the Buzzsaw, wow. Buzzsaw, there's the word, drones. I remember that. Yeah. I mean, they also did the drones in, what was it? The previous one we watched, Gundam X. And I think, but I haven't got to anything in Iron-Blooded Orphans that I was told people did. I need to check out the second season. I just didn't. No reason. I thought it was cool. I want to. I just never got around to it. So I need to figure out what the hell happens in the second half. I'm sure it's a normal Gundam show where nothing goes bad at all.
Cannon turret with more than enough power to tear right through mobile suits, 2 smaller beam cannons that still had plenty of power, 4 20mm machine guns, and 2 weapon bays that could be outfitted with a variety of missiles and bombs.
Yeah.
Options per weapon bay included 4 anti-ship missiles, which were newly developed for the Skygrasper.
How many weapons did they fit in that thing? I mean, yeah, I know it can put on the strike packs in the back. That's the least interesting. That is a lot of ordnance. Dear God, damn. When you really just lay it out there like that one, there's some space magic going on because I don't think the body's big enough to hold all that.
6 medium-range air-to-air guided missiles, a standard of the Alliance arsenal, 1 laser-guided 1,000-pound bomb, 12 short-range air-to-air guided missiles, the same type as those used by the Buster, 1 anti-runway penetration bomb, 8 250-pound bombs, and 1 1,000-pound bomb. And its capabilities could be even further expanded by the hard points on the tips of its wings. And I'm not just talking about the ability to mount striker packs on there. The Skygrasper had its own options as well.
Yep.
For example, a conformal fuel tank, aka a CFT. Not only did this give the Skygrasper...
I'm pretty sure that technology for extra fuel tanks, and I'm assuming they drop off, is something IRL planes do, although less frequently because refueling midair is a thing. I mean, very hard and maybe not tactically advantageous if you're being shot at, but it is a thing.
For a larger fuel capacity, but it also comes with extra weapon hard points. That then could be used to double the amount of bombs it could carry. Other options were the Reconnaissance Pack, which also had a built-in CFT and a mono-eye camera, the Firepower Pack, which adds a total of 4 beam cannons to the Skygrasper's arsenal, an Electronic Warfare Pack for better ECM capabilities
CWS.
under N-jammer interference, and a Booster Pack for extreme high-altitude interceptions against enemy craft undergoing atmospheric re-entry.
I mean, yeah, if it works.
So again, the Skygrasper was intended...
Also, I'm being told by Ken, this is all the options, not all the ones loaded in at one time. Oh, okay, that makes more sense. I was going to say, that is... At some point, you don't need a Gundam anymore when all of that happens. You fly in, you get a shot in, and the Gundam's basically just there to distract everyone at that point. Admittedly, that is kind of how the show used the Strike Fighter, so... Or, yeah, the Skygrasper.
As anything but a glorified delivery device. But due to the amazing performance of the prototype Strike Gundam, the 2 prototype Skygraspers that were delivered to the Archangel did end up becoming just that.
Alley mode. Yeah. The moment you realize just the automated, it falls into place is the most fantasy thing in the entire show. Yeah, admittedly, the Skygrasper was still cool.
And so its ability to both deliver and use those striker packs did become its most defining feature. And the most...
I mean, admittedly, the booster in the back plus the rest of a really good fighter seems like it'd be unironically just a good idea. The rest of them... Honestly, I kind of want to see how the giant fuck-off cannon would work. Because on the one hand, yeah, no power in a plane is a bad idea. On the other hand, if you need one shot and you get one shot and the one shot works, you're done and it's all awesome. And zip, magnets are magic? Fuck yeah. I mean that in and out of universe as well.
Names of those striker packs were, of course, the L Striker, which gave it higher speeds and an extra beam cannon, the Launcher Striker, which did make it less maneuverable, but also gave it access to the multi-weapon pod and extremely powerful Agni, and the Sword Striker. Something that turned this fighter craft into a quasi-mobile armor.
To be fair, I pretty much would say it's kind of a quasi-mobile armor to start with, but let's ignore that part. That's pedantic. But give that plane a sword. Swords and planes are great. When they say knife fighting range, they mean to do it literally. Unironically, I would love to see if someone could possibly do that IRL with drones that are literally fighting in the air with swords. Would it be a good idea? No! Would it be funny? Yeah.
Because it was now able to use the grappling hook to grapple things, and the sword could be lowered to cut
Also,
things.
they just cut the barrels, not the thing, except for the one
Transferring
weapon.
these to the Strike Gundam then was as simple as flying up to it, ditching the equipment, and then
wave?
letting
Yep.
the computer take care
They use the Strike Pack more
rest.
often than the Striker
Other
Gundam.
known compatible Striker
Yep.
packs then are the Lightning Striker, although it couldn't use any of its weapons.
Don't remember that one.
G-Flight,
There
a
was.
Striker pack purpose-built for the Stray outframe to give it greater range
Why I
and
don't know it,
speed,
but looks cool.
And the Raijin Striker, a heavy pack with heavy firepower.
Okay, that's cool. It's basically just two giant fuck-off guns with wings attached to it, and I love this. Oh, it's
that,
only
of
the Stray,
course,
isn't
also
it?
made the Sky Grasper very difficult to control.
But who cares, because
And
fuck you is a good reason.
I wonder if it would be the same with the IWSP
No?
and the Multiple Assault Striker Pack. Like, would they be straight up too heavy to use, or would they just make the Sky Grasper more difficult to control?
Why not both?
Along with a big hit to its speed and mobility. But while the
Gundam
Striker
Seed
Pack
Eclipse.
compatibility did greatly increase the performance of both the Sky Grasper and the Strike, there were also some downsides to this design. In order to fit the full Striker Pack, the wingtips of the Sky Grasper were modeled after the Strike shoulders, which weren't exactly the most aerodynamic things around.
Yeah.
Meaning that it did have an effect on its flight characteristics.
So in space, fuck it. In or in air, yeah, that's a lot of extra resistance that makes it very hard. You basically need a rock to move at that point. You're fighting against the air every step of the way.
But
If you're using
this then
real
could
physics.
be easily remedied by the automation technology that they gained from the G weapons.
What?
Something that was, of course, extremely important to operate these highly complex machines that could normally only be operated by coordinators. For the Sky Grasper,
Automation's bullshit,
it meant
man.
that the computer would automatically correct for all of the crazy things the Striker packs were doing, as well as its not exactly optimal aerodynamics. And it was able to do this to such a degree that even novice pilots were able to effectively use this machine.
I'll be completely honest right now. If they put that level of help into a regular, one of the airships they have, like just the regular air fighters, the fighter jets in general, so that they could just drop a pilot in right away, they'd probably win any war, because I'm assuming the jet is a lot cheaper to make than a mobile suit. And if they could do that, they probably have plenty of people they can just randomly throw in, because it looks like random hundreds of people dying is nothing they sneeze at. The more I hear about Seed, the more I'm like, you know, the AI in Seed is probably the second most bullshit thing. The first still being magnets. Unlike UC, where the most bullshit thing there was their industrial capacity is legitimately flat out just magic.
On the other end of the spectrum then, a more experienced pilot could turn off its automation for more advanced and risky maneuvers. Due to its design, the Sky Grasper was
cool.
a very touchy machine, capable of quick rolls and pitch changes, which for an inexperienced pilot would make this craft uncontrollable, but an ace pilot could make use of these characteristics and even outperform mobile suits. Also, while
also a
this was
smaller
never
target.
mentioned anywhere, I assume that it was also thanks to this automation that the two-seater Sky Grasper could now also be operated by a single novice pilot.
Yep. Although there is something to be said for having a two-person system, just because if weight isn't the problem, It's a backup person in case anything happens. Also, Zero, just remember, even the B-2 stealth bomber needs automation when it's in flight. I actually didn't know that because, oddly enough, I've just never really looked up the B-2 much. Yeah.
Because it was actually designed for a pilot and a navigator to fly it, but because the Archangel was short on manpower, the 2 prototype units would be exclusively used with a single pilot behind the controls. For Unit 1, this was Mula Flaga, who would mostly use the Launcher Striker pack, and for Unit 2, this was Kigali Yula Atha, followed by Tol Koenig, both of whom would most commonly use the Sword Striker pack, with the Ale Striker pack then being most commonly used by the Strike.
Yep. Oh, also, Andronus, to be fair, Amuro piloting, that's the word. A Gundam after reading the manual for a couple of minutes is also BS. I know. It would involve someone reading a manual. I know what I said. Out of everything there, it wouldn't be understanding after reading a manual. It's doing it in the first place. How many times have you pulled up anything new and immediately thrown out the manual without looking at it? And the answer is you're probably lying the first time you answer that question. The second time I wait through your real answer, and it will be, yeah, you probably don't even have a single manual left. I am just as guilty of that as anything. I know sometimes the answer is usually right there, and we just all miss it.
Another thing then that made the Skygrasper
like
a formidable fighting force were its vectored thrusters, allowing for both advanced maneuvers and also VTOL capabilities. In
probably
short,
works better than the actual VTOLs.
The Skygrasper was perfect, and well on its way to mass production.
And then Gundams.
Until one of the 2 prototypes was destroyed, and the other one went AWOL shortly thereafter.
Yeah.
Along with the ship it was stationed on. So, for a while, it was feared that the amazing Skygrasper would be slowly forgotten about.
It would be a very different story if it turned out Zaf just wanted the mobile suit, but the Alliance was all in on the Skygrasper, and that's what they were really into. It'd be funny if that's how it actually went down. It's like, oh, you just want the Gundam when you already have the others? Cool, we'll take the ship.
But just like the loss of the prototype Strike Gundam didn't stop the Alliance from producing it, the loss of the prototype Skygraspers didn't stop them from mass producing this thing either. Once the Striker Pack compatible 105 Dagger began production,
they do look
the
cool,
Skygrasper was the perfect companion machine and would continue supporting them throughout the second Valentine War.
Even if they're
which then makes me wonder
dumb,
about the compatibility
so cool.
with the Jet, Doppelhorn, and Multi-Striker Pack.
You know, I'm going to ask something really dumb, but do they actually have a model that comes with the nuclear launchers for maximum genocide? It's like, it's a dumb thing to ask, but it kind of would be cool if, you know, just hear me out. More DACA. I'm also definitely not thinking of maybe putting magnets on the feet of some of the Gundams and just making a giant hex grid that you can maybe, I don't know, play Gundam Assemble on with full-size Gundams, because it would be so cool. I mean, the rules are there. You already have the Gundam. Why not? I mean, it would be huge, but it would be fun.
The Jet seems like a no-brainer, but the Doppelhorn and the Multi-Striker could be an issue due to their weight and shape.
Just a little
still,
detail.
The idea of mounting 2 giant nukes on a Skygrasper amuses me.
Can you imagine if we put nukes on a plane? I mean, you're probably going to call it something really stupid and not aerodynamic, like Skinny Boy or Big Man or something. I don't know.
And thanks to its excellent performance on Earth, it should almost go without saying that work began on a space version as well. The FXET 565 Cosmograsper, the machine that was meant as a replacement for the Mobius. For political reasons, it became a collaboration between the Atlantic Federation's PMP and Advanced Space Dynamics, the Republic of East Asia's Fujiyama, and Orb's Morgan Rate. And it
nothing bad ever happened.
Upgrades than you might think at first sight. The engines were changed, the canopy-style cockpit was replaced with an armored cockpit using a VR system, the main wings now serve as radiators for heat dissipation, it got extra verniers to allow it to maneuver more like a mobile suit.
Oh, so the wings were explicitly designed as radiators in space. That's not bad. Putting them behind the jets or in a place where they collect heat from that is a little weird, but okay. I mean, the fact that they included it for an actual reason is weird. And yeah, I'm aware that if it's actually a radiator, the size has to be obscene to really do the right job. But I mean, it's rule of cool. Who cares?
And its weapon
the kits were a Cosmograph spur for Bandai itself.
It kept the 20mm machine
Tempting.
guns, main beam cannon, and sub-beam cannons of the Skygrasper, but instead of a weapons bay...
Okay, so I know this is a thing that's been with Gundam for any of the fighter style, but they basically have tank turrets on the top of planes. Is it just because that's the aesthetic they want to go for to show it's a giant cannon? Or is it just as dumb looking to anyone else as it is me? I don't say anything usually because, like, it's the style. It's just the aesthetic. Roll with it. But it's like all the other guns mounted on hard points that are kind of recessed in. And then there's just this one. It's like, bump, extended from it. I know it's supposed to give it more optimal range, but that's just not usually how a fighter works. But is it just me that's thinking this weird? Or that, like, they should have recessed it a bit more so that even if it sticks out and spins around, it would still be less exposed. Although it would be an absolute and utter nightmare to build that kit, but it would still be fun. But I don't know, it just looks like it's always off-putting because of how non-aerodynamic it is. Even more than the shoulder blades, which are explicitly non-aerodynamic. The rule of cool does work with me on them, where this one just doesn't seem to hit.
It now has a weapon hardpoint under each wing, for which we know of two options. Medium cannons or 6-barreled Gatling guns. So, it seems there are...
Although it's pointing out to me that in space, rotating turrets make perfect sense. Yeah, no, and this is a spaceship, so it makes perfect sense here, yeah. Earth, not so much. Space, yeah. And about the old World War II turrets on interceptors and bombers, yeah. And with all the bombs this thing had, whoo, it definitely can do that.
Cosmograsper no longer has the missiles of the Skygrasper. But what it does still have is the ability to use striker packs.
Still?
And again, we see
an
upgrade here. Because the main striker pack that it was designed to operate with
was
the upgraded space variant of the
Striker. Okay.
And here you can also see that it was designed with the mobile suits that it would be operating alongside in mind. The Skygrasper and the Ale Striker were for the Strike Gundam, whose only close combat weapons were a pair of measly Armor Schneider combat knives, so the two beam sabers on the Ale Striker were a welcome addition. But the Cosmograsper and the Cosmo Striker were designed for the 105 Dagger, a machine that already had two beam sabers.
Definitely an upgrade there.
So the Cosmo Striker no longer has those beam sabers.
Oh.
They would be useless for the Cosmograsper and redundant for the 105 Dagger.
I mean, admittedly, that's the smart choice, but still. And it's also red, so it's faster. God.
Eventually became of the Cosmograsper project, though, is hard to say.
Oh?
But unfortunately, the fact that we know so little probably does also say something about its deployment.
Mostly that I think later future developments in Seed came more from Astray than anywhere else. And that doesn't seem like it's going to focus on anything other than mechs, specifically the mechs for mobile suits, and that might do it, yeah. Who knows, maybe eventually they'll start adding more to it.
If it was mass-produced to any capacity at all, it would have been near the end of the First Bloody Valentine War. And by the Second Bloody Valentine War, the Mobius had been replaced by either mobile suits or heavy mobile armors, with no Cosmograspers in sight. And even though the mobile suits did still have striker pack compatibility, there didn't seem to be much focus on changing them mid-battle. Although this might have had more to do.
I mean, can we be fair? Outside of gimmick to make it look cool, changing that mid-battle is not really that useful because it's just a giant target when you know you're going to be weakened.
With the fact that they simply didn't live long enough to outlast their battery.
Also that. Yeah, they were all red shirts. One there, one there, one there. Who needs survivors?
And so this is where the story ends for the Skygrasper, a very powerful and versatile fighter that got overshadowed by mobile suits. It's really a shame.
And the irony being that the Gundam is literally overshadowing them in the actual art. It's like, oh yeah, there's a Gundam image. Oh wait, there's other things in the background. Oh yeah.
That we didn't see more of it in Destiny as like the Alliance's main fighter or as a support craft for their Striker Pack compatible mobile suits.
Yeah.
For example, something like the Strike E, which we'll be having a look at in the next part of the Strike's development
Probably
history.
from Librarians,
So,
yeah.
Stay tuned for that. As always, a big thank with the original Strike Gundam.
And next up, we have Strike Gundam Development History Part 3, Alliance and Librarians. And if we know anything about the Librarians, it's that their shit's going to look weird, and I'm here for it. Because every single bit of the way, the more I see anything from a Stray, it's like, why does this have to be so cool? Why wasn't this the show? Yeah. Before that, though, I need to quickly run and get more coffee. I am currently suffering from a distinct lack of it. Horrible thing. I know. 9 out of 10 people should get more coffee. The 10th guy already has it and is just lying because he wants a third cup, and that son of a bitch already got it. Never forgive him. I'll be right back. Alrighty. And we're back. All right. So before we jump into the final bit of what I can probably get done today, because teeth stuff, yeah, sorry about that. We will be finishing the Strike Gundam Development History Alliance and the, I was going to say Liberation for some reason, Librarians, which, if it's going for some of the stray designs, it's going to be cool. But before that, I'm going to be checking out Discord because I was told some interesting posts were made. Just going to do a quick run through and, oh yeah, that's definitely the case. Yeah, there's going to be some fun shit. Oh man, pulling it up right now. Just reviewed it quickly to make sure nothing too crazy is in there. Yeah, I just love checking this out every now and again because we have some very cool stuff going on. We got some of the options here, which I have, it's like the SD Gundam on it. I'm going to go all the way up to see what kind of crazy shit we can get into here. All right, we'll start from here. Some various prints. Now, it's not Gundam, but it looks Gundam adjacent. That's just a pretty cool Soritas. 40K, 3D printed on that one. But it looks good. Better paint job than I can do. Multi-parts, you can see the lines. Probably going to go a lower millimeter on that one if they wanted to print it out. Not bad, though. Good paint job. And this is from Gundam Seed Recollection. Oh, the Dragoon Strike Gundam. Looks cool. I want to see more of it in action before I say anything else about it. Hey, oh, by the way, Typhoon Index, sorry for butchering your name, 2. Codement is back with 2 new episodes. Oh, that'd be fun. I'll just check it out just because a lot of abridging I can't do live, but it's definitely something I want to do. Ooh. I see Epion. I see Wing Zero from the TV show. I'm happy. I'm easily pleased. That's awesome. It looks so cool! But these are probably incredibly finicky. Oh, it's so cool. And I really like Pies posted their perfect grade Strike Gundam. That is a very big model, but it's so cool. Like, to give you an idea, real grade? Actually, like, high grade is about this tall. Pretty cool for just, like, action figure size. This is, like, double the height, if not more. That is some chunky drops on plastic there. Like, the physical material is big, but it looks so cool. I don't care if the mech is stupid. It's so cool. And then you see the other variation. They got all of them. A real grade, a high grade, a real grade, a perfect grade, and the SD Gundam grade, or Super Deformed grade. I think this person really likes the high grade. Or not the high grade, just all of it. But yeah, it looks good regardless. Actually, no, I'm going to say it. I think the high grade and the perfect grade are really the standouts here. I mean, the SD grade just doesn't do it for me regardless, but it holds up, and I think there's a little less detail on the master grade as opposed to the high grade. I've been saying the wrong words, haven't I? I don't care. It's still really cool. Oh, look at that thing. Like, this is a thing of beauty, man. And the stand to hold it up is a thing of absolute sheer, I can't believe it's holding it. Oh, that's so cool. 2 Leos. I see nothing wrong with this. I don't know. Something seems off with this Leo. It's probably my imagination. On real like pies, they're not yours physically? Oh, I'm so sorry, man. They do look so cool. I even said not mine in the section. Yeah. And here are the examples of Bandai's electroplating. Also, for smudging, it helps to use hand gloves. Oh. It looks so cool. And yeah, gloves are a requirement for this thing. You get... Oh. I know this is one of the unicorns. I know if I look at this, I breathe the wrong way, I blink too excessively, I would ruin it. but it's pretty. Oh, is it like the see-through variation? Oh yeah, they've started doing that a few times. Not entirely sure how I feel about that, but it is shiny. Shiny is nice. Oh, it's gold. I'm easily pleased. This is just fun. Ooh, and the Guyaz for assault. Okay. I have no idea what any of that means, but it looks cool. I don't know what kit that's from, but is like, I know it's supposed to be a Gundam, but what show is it making a reference to? I feel like the design should be a reference to something. I'm just pulling a blank on it utterly. And of course, it's a Gundam, but going full on Dark Lord with wings and everything. Or is it just generic knight? Oh, it's actually from a game. Oh, it was self-referential to something from SD Gundam. Huh. The more you know. That actually does look cool. Robot sprites from Metal Build. Yep. And here we have, this is a custom possible job. Okay. That's cool. They put a lot of detail on that one. SD Knight in Gundam proportions? Yeah. Yeah. And this is so over the top. I kind of love it. Also, just good to see more bronze being used as a color. It's such a pleasant one. Very warm. Just everything about that is just a solid style. And Wukong Impulse Gundam is by far the one most wants in the style. Yeah. God, can you imagine having to paint this? I can. It would be fun. You just start everything in black, so you have the lining down, and then you just dry brush the gold, and then you add in the red around it. Or even add the red and then add the gold around it with a little bit of white trim. Because white sucks. Fuck using white. And you can always cover it over. But yeah, this is really pretty. And we have some other variations of it that are... Oh god, it's all the effects they have for glowing bits. Bit over the top, but it's still not bad looking. I thought it was Bakugan at first. Like, can you understand like that? That looks really insane. And then there's the pretty one. The F. Konoichi. Honestly, with all the weird things, this isn't even the craziest design they've seen for Gundam so far. Oh, and we got reprints when Bandai? Oh, they're out of... Oh, these aren't actually being sold anymore, but it's the transportations for the original Gundam. Those for everything. Does it even come with the little guys looking around on it? Holy shit. Sorry, I don't know why, but the idea there's a guy who's just going, okay, we're going to do this now. And they're going, 5 more days till retirement. Yeah. Wait, there's see-through cockpits. Not cockpits, like the driver cab as well. Oh, shit. There's a lot of posing in that. Okay. I still think the fire looks stupid, which apparently was, but it also did bad. But it's not a bad design. I can't tell if I like this more or less. It looks cool, though. That still looks dumb, but also I kind of love it. Classic tank. Ooh. That is literally just, it's a Gundam at home. The at-home portion being it has a head as a cannon. Oh, and zip, that's just samurai cats. Nope, now you said it, I can see it. I don't even know what samurai cats are, but yet I can see it. Just have that name alone. It's all you need to know. Yeah. Oh, what do we have here? Oh, this, according to Sec, is the Raijin Striker for the Eclipse Gundam, not from Astray. Oh, it's just such a cool design. The one seen on the Skygrasper is with giant double barrels. Yeah. It looks a lot more cut down in this variation, but this looks really pretty. Yeah. And then it looks really cool with the Eclipse Gundam right there because giant fuck-off cannons are awesome, and I don't care who you are. That's always going to be the case. Especially when they actually have all the bits right and the coloration really sticks through. And you see as the added hood comes forward, and it just kind of works. Yeah. Oh. And this is a Corello modern high-grade Wen Bandai. And this is like an old perfect grade someone painted by hand. Admittedly, better freehanding than I could do. It's a low bar, but they managed to beat it. The model itself doesn't actually look that... Oddly enough, even though it's rough on the eyes and the mouth, their work on the blades is actually pretty decent. Huh. You can actually see they probably painted that last because they were improving as they went. It's not bad. He's so ugly. Yeah, he really is. But it's like so ugly you kind of want to see more of it. And then there's... Oh, they got ridiculous. Mobile suit in action, all right. I think my brother had this one. Maybe not this one, but like something from G Gundam. It wasn't one of the main units, but I think I remember it. Oh, man. Like just all the crazy things from this set. The Big Zam. I was told this was $50. That's an absurdly affordable price, man. Considering what you're getting off this, you're not building it yourself. It's already pre-made. It looks really good. They're putting a lot of detail in there. Holy shit, was it just too good of a deal? And it's actually huge. I thought this was going to be tiny. Also, they have so many Gundams, their boards are actually collapsing on the shelves. Oh, they should do something about that. But also, oh, wow. I thought this would be small. No, it's not. Oh, it's in scale with the rest of the figures. God, Gundam even. I'm just going to start doing that one. That's a lot more detail than I thought it would actually get. It looks better than some of them. For what it is, it's really cheap. Yeah. I mean, for that much plastic, it's really cheap, let alone the detail they put in. I'm having jealousy right now. I'm pretty sure that's Viggo Morrison. I feel like this is Aaron Hansen, but I know it's not Aaron Hansen, so I have no idea who it actually is. But damn, they're just getting all the cool shit, man. Eomer and Aragon. Oh, that's why. Very different art in the movies for him. And this is the battle scarred line. Oh, dude, it's actually beat the fuck up. And has the bits of the Devil Gundam in it as well. Oh, that's so cool. That just... Oh, I'm having so many fan moments right now. Here's what they look like here. They did work on these. Oh. Is Lobster. Yes. Oh, and here's more battle-scarred line for the Gundam Maxter. G Gundam. Yeah, the American Boxer Gundam. No, that was a platformer stand that was the Devil Gundam head, wasn't it? Oh, this is so... They really win all out, because that doesn't look like a bad paint job in its own right. Oh, hey, Max, thank you for the 100 jewels for the marshmallow. It's a hand. That's cool. Ah, nice. Seriously, though, like, I've seen companies just sell stands like this alone as their own product, and this just came with a Gundam that was admittedly painted amazingly with given details on it. That's insane. B-Dam? I don't remember any of these. I'm assuming they were gacha then, like an actual gachapon machine. Or was it something else entirely? I don't know. And then there's... I wish I didn't lose half of my Misa in patent divorce. They got back together because one of my mother's friends made it look like the father was cheating. Hate this guts. Ah, yeah, that would be a thing. And there's the Mummy Gundam. All wrapped up and more revealed. Yeah, because Gundam for G Gundam was just insane. I mean, and all of the G Gundam Battlescar bases connect together? Oh god, that scenery by the end would have been so cool. And yeah, G Gundam. The more you look at it, the more dumb it gets. But it's like so over the top dumb that it kind of loops around to being cool again. And just battle scarred. The RX-78-2 comes with the core fighter and everything. Oh, wow. They gave you literally everything on this thing, and including multiple broken sections. Damn. I found a peak mean. Automatic, Sugar Mama Lacus. Manual, Sugar Mama Kigali. Yeah. Yeah, he did kind of do that, and I think Kigali has better taste. Oh, dude. The Mariner Zeke. They kind of hold up. Oh, nice. The wires holding these things up. They kind of hold up, oddly enough. Paint job, maybe not so much, but it's not bad. But it looks decent. I do appreciate just how clean these sections look, though. It's not bad. I wonder if someone actually did moldings of these themselves. It's not bad either way. Hell, even just a little touch-up on the eye would do fine. Granted, I'm the last person to say that because I can't do eyes to save my life. Ooh, okay, that one I like. Dude, some of these are insane. And Fake Grand Order, of course they had a... Am I the only one who thinks the eyes look kind of disturbing? Considering who it is, that's probably intentional. Oh, God. Oh, we got more Gundam? Oh, it's probably an electronic warfare set. Dude, I haven't even seen some of these. Like, some I have, obviously. But, dude, they're just going all out on the crazy Gundams, man. It's just, there's so many cool things here. Oh. Oh, God, there actually was a kit. Huh. Wait, they just sold a Devil Gundam? And just the Hazel itself, yeah. Reposting the Rick Dom. Yeah, it works. It's just a standard suit and it looks good. And the Mark II Super Gundam. Or Mark II and the Super Gundam. Oddly enough, I think I like this one slightly better than this one. It's probably the weapon quality. This one just has a slightly better weapon. The Gundam itself is just fine. Like, seriously, this is probably my favorite part. Oh, damn! Oh, that's actually someone weathering it themselves. That looks good. Oh, man. It's like, it's either an oil wash or someone's just streaking, griming it. But either way, it's fine. You can see that there's also a giant unicorn in the background. Yeah, the biggest parts around here where it cleans up around there where it might be more abraded, but also harder to paint. That's not bad. And this is the launcher. Oh, that is so cool. And Dragoon, or Dragon, I should see the custom Gunpla builds. Ooh.
Gundam out of their
Wrong button. Did I just close that? No, I didn't. That is so pretty. The strike with launcher and sword pack. Yeah. What the? It lights up. Oh my God. Wait, what? The meteor unit. Yes, the lights spin and... Oh my God. IBO has legit cockpit? Yeah. Oh, and now we have the modes for this one. Not really easy to see it from the side, but pretty cool looking. But I think the other one has the better shot. Yeah, this lets you see what you're actually looking at. And that's actually really cool. 2 Barbatos Lupus. Yeah, I mean, Barbatos. I have the power of random protagonist bullshit that someone else got, and I'm going to beat you for it. They just look good. Also, Max, still planning a Kakarot197 standalone what if videos or his Gundam Alex scenario series?
hands and
I mean, I don't plan things in general, so I have no idea what's going on. I just kind of roll with it. Right now, the rolling is working out because there's so many cool things. And on the top of the Wukong Impulse, you did paint yours up a few years ago. Wait, you painted this? Oh yeah, there's the markers and everything. Hot damn. If you told me that came out of the box with those colors already, I'd believe it, but that's very nice. Well done. Aerial Gundam at home. Oh my god. Just lazing in the chair. Oh, okay. You win this round. You win this round. That's fun. After this hug, they did the deed in the cockpit. Yeah, I'm surprised they just finally did something that didn't involve horrible shit happening later on. Also, best girl. And before we head out, this is the last one. It's not sex or nakamas, but it's just a good one. Yeah. Gunpla Builders World Cup. Oh, they even got the model in there for the character that being held up by the Gundam with the snow effect on it. And the extra arms, the broken pieces. They did flocking on the side. Oh, seriously. There's so many cool things. And then, ooh, okay. And okay, someone really went to town on this one. Doesn't look like Relina's face, but it's just very well done. And the Gundam in the background breaking down and every single piece falling apart with it's roughly in the same area. So you can tell what is falling apart from the battle damage, the burns. And there's Hero on the background. God, that's sucked ass, but hey, it's done. Honestly, I'm kind of surprised how much I just like this solid build. It looks really cool, and I don't see a sticker in sight, which is probably half the reason. Yeah. Oh, that's so cool. But we gotta stop there because otherwise I will literally just geek out over Gundam the entire time. So let's go back to geeking out over Gundam the entire time. Gonna turn the camera back on. The camera was already back on. That's not good. Well, let's just geek out a little more over Gundam then, because I can get away with that. Now, hopefully the heat isn't a problem. But yeah. Here we go. Zero falling apart. Yeah. Oh, it literally broke. Oh God. Oh, I am so sorry. Oh. Was it more than one piece too? Oh, was this like a bad kit or... Yeah, I had apparently not turned the camera off. We're at the point where it probably is fine for the rest of the video, but I'm just going to give it a little leeway. Oh, that actually hurts. And this is the unicorn in God mode. Yeah. From the trading card game. Oh. Wait. The unicorn is in the new Bandai Gundam trading card game. Damn. I mean, you just win the game if you play it. Oh, and here's the Advance of Zeta stuff. Oh, wow. Huh. There's a lot of... Oh, God, I recognize the donut. Okay. Oddly enough, this... Like, just... So everything was probably the exact one color before everything else. This one surprisingly holds up well because, I mean, I'm a little biased. It's a mobile suit with a giant cannon. Or let me rephrase that. It's a giant cannon with a mobile suit attached. With surprisingly big, thick feet. And a tiny little chest by comparison. Hey, I mean, if it works, it works. Ooh. And Alex, this is your wallpaper. Yeah. Is that a Gundam head down here? I can't even tell if that's in the background or not. Or is that an arm? it's something. And then, of course, it's the Gundams, the unicorns. Yeah. Oh, it's so cool. Ooh. G Gundam, but anime girl? Yeah, that works. Is this from Hathaway? Yeah, I recognize the design. That's Hathaway. And there's the Mecha Girl version of it. Okay. Cool. I need to see it. The frog from Full Metal Panic. Yeah, they had some weird mechs, man. Oh, God. What? More example of SD World heroes. Sergeant Buster. Oh, that's a Gundam head. Yeah, because it's the super deformed. I wasn't sure what I was looking at for a second. Oh, man, SD Gundam gets weird. Another peak art. Yeah. Oh. Dude, I want to say Iron Blooded Orphans on that one, but I could be wrong. Oh, and you got 2 of them? Yeah. Solid 0. Looks good. Damn. I'm assuming this is just Gundam fan art, but that's... I like the style around it, but then just focusing on the high detail right on the head, where everything else breaks down a bit more and is more subjective, except for the head. The head unit is very much in perfect detail for the fins, a bit of the chest, and then everything around it actually loses detail, and they're not even drawing all the pieces around it. Just drawing your eye to the one thing that matters, has the most light on it. Oh. You have more arts to find? Yeah. Unicorn, man. And ooh, and the markers, man. Max, the giant or Gaian development history, highly recommend. I mean, if it's in the list, we're going to get to all of it regardless. Yeah, Buster Gundam theme, that would do it. And Zip, would you like a Gundam with your cannon, sir? Apparently they said no, because I'm pretty sure that was Zaku on it. Either way, who cares? It's awesome. Not so official Hyzak custom. Yeah, but it kind of works. Like, it really does. It's a classic design, man. Char aura maxing. Yeah, Sazabi. It's still weird to see him without the stupid over-the-top mask. Like, I know he basically did the glasses in Zeta, and it's the only time I thought he was actually a cool character as opposed to just kind of whiny. But... this Sazabi just is peak Zeon, man. Oddly enough, as much as I love the Nightingale, I think the Sazabi alone, which the Nightingale is the better version of, this kind of fits better with the aesthetic overall. It's just really good art here, though. That's beautiful. Oh, and we got the unicorn in the same style. And Wing Zero in the same style. Ooh. Damn, the artists are going insane. And the Red Menace Army. It's all of Char's suit, including the SD variation. Technically also Char's, yeah. Did he ever actually get in the red one? Yeah, it's close enough. Oh. Yeah, we're also getting close to the time where I'll probably stop after this. And wait. Oh! I didn't know this had a model yet. How long has Gundam Hathaway been out? The G Gundam. That actually looks really cool. This is the phone wallpaper. Wing Zero's final blast. Yeah. The gun was bigger than the Gundam, but it still holds up. Or, I mean, the Gundam didn't, but still. Ooh. What if IBO she didn't build? What if custom for Mikazuki? Yeah. Honestly, it's very standard. Looks good. This is Abi and the new playing. Dude. Solid build. Ooh, I like the effect on that one, too. Yeah. I mean, they're just cool mechs, man. No, we're going to have to cut this one here. I think we have enough time on the camera, but also it looks so cool, and it's... I gotta hold back. I gotta hold back. Can't immediately go and buy all the Gundam goodness. I want to, but I shouldn't. We're not going to. I definitely am going to keep telling myself that one. Also, the second movie goes on Netflix at the end of the month. That's probably why I don't know about it, because I don't have Netflix anymore. Oh well, might be fun to check it out someday anyways. Ooh, and Lost. 1, thank you for dropping in 2. You really liked the video about the reaction to America Wizard? Oh, hell yeah, man. America Wizard's awesome. Everything Madman has done has been really cool. I know he's done a bunch of other things we're going to check out soon, too. All right. And yeah, Zip, the Sazabi and the new are still peak mechs. Yeah, they're just really good. They're the peak of what original Gundam looked like. I don't know enough about the later on stuff for, like, anything to do with Crossbone looks cool, but I just don't know a lot of what's going on with the lore, so I can't say shit about it yet. But I would love to find out. Also, and fun fact, one of the original ideas for Gundam was to make Char and Amuro brothers. Oh, they definitely fight like them. That would definitely be a change, too. Either way, let's drop into this part. Camera's in the right place. Everything's good. Let's get started. This will be where I have to cut this one short, though, because... yeah, the tooth is bothering me a bit. It'll go down over time, but that's just why there's a thing today. And Taryn, why isn't there a goal? Mostly because we already passed the time on that one. Oh no, actually there is. It should end in about 27 minutes. If you can't see it, try refreshing, because I do still see the timer on my part. In the meantime, let's drop into this. Here we go. All right. Gonna wait for that to go away. We're good. And next up, we have Strike Gundam Development History, Alliance, and Librarians. If there's anything I know about the Librarians, it's that I'm going to probably geek out over it and utterly try and damage my wallet by looking at that and convincing myself I don't actually need it, but maybe I do. It's been a pattern.
With the original Strike Gundam out of their hands and even its spare parts gone, you might think that for their future mobile suit development, the Alliance would look at one of the machines they still had. But nothing could have been further from the truth, because despite their setbacks, the Strike Gundam would remain front and center of the Alliance's mobile suit force. In a previous development history video, I already went over its mass production variants, but the Strike Gundam proper...
shit, that does actually look cool. And it's a master grade, so it's probably really nice and very expensive.
...would also be
not
further
a perfect grade
developed
level, though.
For Alliance ace pilots.
Okay.
Although this wasn't necessarily
Tell me you're the bad guy without telling me you're the bad guy.
The first plan they had. Plan A was actually to outfit their elite Phantom Pain Squadron with nuclear-equipped machines.
I'm sure this couldn't go any way bad in any way, shape, or form. Yeah.
Because of course.
Nukes
but
for
then
everyone!
The Junius Treaty happened and nukes were banned. So the Alliance had to move on to Plan B. War crimes. I mean, the Action Project.
War crimes for everyone. Seed. The world where everyone in charge is horrible. Everyone. Across the board. No one is worth it. Yeah. It's one of those random times where you realize UC didn't have as many horrible people in charge when the zombies were leading it. Then there's G-Quox where the zombies actually won, and it still looks like the world was better off than just standard UC timeline. Because just standard UC timeline seems really bad. Yeah.
During the interwar period, Action Industries was definitely not heavily backed by members of Logos. In collaboration with other companies, remanufactured the original 5 GAT machines and then fine-tuned them and upgraded them for their specific pilots. And in the case of the...
I think we did see this one as one of the OVA episodes that had some horrible things happening in it when it was piloted by an asshole who died horribly.
Strike, its pilot would be one of Phantom Pain's top aces, Sven Kalbayan. The strike he received was mostly identical to the original strike, but one upgrade was already carried out.
Also, I'm just going to pull this up because this is definitely a thing to say right here. Nah, man, half the pop was gone by the end of 1 year war. The pop? Oh, probably nukes, yeah. And still not edgy enough to be Victory Gundam. Here's the thing. I know nothing about Victory Gundam. I think I know more about Gundam X at this point because we saw a single video involving it. Victory Gundam, I got about. I've heard it is the equivalent of saying, so, how do you feel about depression? The Gundam series. Sure, why not?
The phase shift armor was rebalanced to give it a better power consumption to protection ratio.
Yeah,
Change
but
that also caused the colors to be slightly darker. His striker pack of...
And also, he looks more like a villain, which I'm sure has nothing to do with that one. Also, Duck, 5.9 billion lost in 1 year. 5 point, like the pop was gone by the end of the 1 year war? Or are we talking IRL or in universe for that number lost? Because I could see that being in universe and out of universe either way, and both kind of scare me.
Choice then was the IWSP pack. Now, as mentioned in my first video on the Strike's development,
or is it
the IWSP was originally developed by PMP, ergo the Alliance, but they just couldn't get it combat worthy. The batteries
they just couldn't get it up in time. I hear some design companies have trouble with that one. They just keep saying, oh, I swear we'll do it next time. Oh, I swear this never happened before. That's just another extra $1 billion. Thank you very much. The moment you realize everything I'm saying perfectly reflects IRL design history of most military industrial complex units. Ooh. And Max, thank you very much for the 10 joules for the W. Nice. Also, Darren, you meant by population. Ah. So it was 5.9 billion lost. And considering this was made in the 80s, when I think the human population was supposed to be, what, 6 billion at the time? As opposed to now where it might be 9 to 10 billion? Yeah. It's like a lot of human didn't human at that point.
Had simply didn't have enough juice for it to make sense on the battlefield. Something that was no problem for Orb, thanks to Morgan Raid's power extender technology.
Yeah.
And well, Morgan Raid,
also known as main character syndrome. We get better tech because main character gets us.
Raid didn't explicitly help the Alliance with their version of the IWSP pack. Their power extender technology had become a mass market commodity. So all that Action had to do was take these power extenders and figure the rest out for themselves, which they did. And this is then how we get to different IWSP striker packs that look slightly different, but are functionally mostly the same.
Are those flashlights? Yeah, it looks like they just put flashlights on top of the gun. I thought they might be jets, but no, they're facing the wrong way. Are they supposed to be beam emitters? But again, they look like they're actual flashlight components. And the beams are right under that. Oh, that's a design choice. Okay. Also, I think currently IRL, we have around a population of 7.3 billion. Oh, I thought we crossed 9 quite a bit ago. I mean, functionally, it doesn't really matter because I've heard the counts are high and low before, so yeah, who really cares about that point? Huh. You think it's mini radar domes? Okay, Alan, I could see that one. Yeah, small, little contained ones. That might be the case.
The AQM EM1 for the Alliance, and the P202 QX for Orb.
They both still have the boomerang. Why are boomerangs such a thing here? Like, was there an Australia mania or something I missed? Entirely possible.
The visual
Those
differences
are scopes?
are the shield, the sensors on the 115mm railguns, the 105mm cannons, and the thrusters. And I do believe that there could also be one...
Yeah, I can kind of see it over here. Yeah, it looks a bit like a scope. Okay, sure, that works.
Performance difference. One of the reasons mentioned for Orb never using the IWSP in combat was its poor reliability and maintainability. But this is never mentioned for the Alliance version, and they seem to be using the IWSP just fine. Their version also came out much later, and after much more testing, whereas the orb version was probably way more rushed because they wanted it ready for the final battle. So I don't think it's out of the question that the Alliance's AQM-EM1 was more reliable than the P202QX.
Am I the only one who just, when you hear strings of letters and numbers like that, just go, maybe it's just me, but I hear all those and I got nothing, man. The numbers just go right over my head.
Heck, the Alliance was so impressed by the unit that they didn't just make multiples of it, but they also further developed it into the Noir Striker, which we'll talk more about in a minute, and
I can't even tell if I
mass-produced
saw that
it.
one or not before.
What didn't change, though, was how difficult it was to use. So, for those
Lot of
mass
automation.
production purposes, they decided to split its two main characteristics into two different striker packs. The high-speed Jet Striker pack and the heavy firepower Doppelhorn Striker pack, both of which you can find more about in my Dagger development history.
Admittedly, just a solid unit. Although I still think, as far as grunt units go, I kind of like the Leo the best.
And
Bias
talking
on my
about the
part.
Striker packs, today's video was brought to you by
Oh god, he has so many striker pack sets. Hey, good for him getting actual sponsorships, though.
Hello.
They do look
Thanks
cool.
to Sven's combat data then, the Strike would be developed into the Strike E, with the E standing for Enhanced. Its basic performance remained roughly the same as
Oh, it's the backpack. There's a bigger backpack section. It's actually significantly bulkier. That's why.
that of the Vanilla Strike, but it got some very
Lucas
important
O'Donnell
quality
colors.
of life
Okay.
upgrades. For example, an AI support system, as well as an improved operating system, making it extremely easy to use, even by natural standards. And for increasing the operating time, it was outfitted with a power extender, and its energy-hungry phase shift armor was replaced with the variable phase shift armor. The phase shift armor had to be always active, and would then spike in energy usage to deflect enemy fire.
I mean, that sounds pretty good. I mean, if you have an incoming system that just says, hey, turn on big power now, maybe you're using less of it. Under new ownership, they got, more Gundam theft. Who'd have thought that would happen? You know, I've heard multiple people refer to Seed as Grand Theft Gundam. The more you get into it, the more it's like, I don't think that should even count as a joke. It's a legitimate description of how this entire show treated everything. Like, did they just never lock the doors on these things?
Whereas the variable phase
Maybe.
shift armor could essentially stay in sleep mode until it got hit, which then
And a new
caused an
faceplate?
energy
Oh,
spike
yeah,
to
too.
deflect that enemy fire. Another feature of the VPS was that its energy setting could also be changed on the fly, depending on which striker pack was
But this is
equipped.
still the Alliance
Something that would
variations,
then
though.
be visually represented by a color change. Other upgrades include a different face mask, which allowed for better cooling of the new sensor suite, overhauled armor, more agile limbs, sub-thruster
Ooh. Okay. That's cool. Sorry, I love seeing these little breakdowns where you see the armor removed and all of the internals underneath it. This is just me. This is just like me, catnip. I love every bit of this. Especially if they wanted further breakdowns of the wiring behind it. Ooh, and Max, I'll pull up your comment. One, thank you very much. Two, has anyone ever heard of Star Wars vs. Gundam video by David's Nerd Life channel? No. But I kind of want to put that in there because that sounds fun. I mean, to be fair, I'd also like to do something like Battletech with Star Wars or Battletech with Gundam because both sound fun. Even Freedom One stolen from Kira. Yeah, strategically transferred to alternate location. Strategic acquisitions, got it. This is a show that very much incorporates that as part of the main line of how everything runs.
sub-thrusters on the shoulders, and of course, new built-in weapons. The two Eagle-Stellung 75mm Seawiz guns were replaced by
German.
two M2 M5 Todesschrecken 12.5mm Seawiz guns. While they had less
I'm not German. I have no idea if that's pronounced right or wrong, but every time I hear that, it's just go. Okay, sure. And when Star Wars vs. Gundam sounds awesome. Even better when you put the Space Wizard in a magic Space Wizard suit. I mean, if it's meant for new types, man, like use the Force fits pretty well sometimes when you think about it.
firepower, these Seawiz guns were mostly used against unarmored targets or to shoot down incoming missiles. So
Is it self-defense or war crimes? We'll find out.
the larger ammo capacity and the rate of fire of the Todesschrecken were deemed to be more important.
That's still a name, man.
The 2 Armor Schneider combat knives then were replaced by 2 shorty beam rifles that were also meant for close-range combat. They were the size of pistols, making them easy to move around in close combat,
beam rifles?
had a high rate of fire,
just beam
and
cannons.
only 15% less range than the Alliance's full-size beam.
I'm sorry. They made them smaller, more compact, and it only took 15% of the range, where everything is kind of just really short, because most people are literally at the point where a knife is a viable weapon in Seed. That just sounds like a good deal regardless.
Beam rifles. A worthwhile trade-off, considering that the Strike E could, and would, of course, still be outfitted with standard beam rifles like those used by the Strike or even the Duel. And finally then, a weapon that was specifically requested by Sven, the EQS-1358 Anchor Launcher.
Really? That's the thing he requested? Did he die really fast? He probably died really fast and like a bitch. I mean, he's part of the Blue Cosmos group, so of course he probably did. Yeah. And outside of the 3 Gundams can't do anything to Force users? I wouldn't say that. They're very prone to, if you're not paying attention, they still die. As in a certain order, you could say, prove that Jedi are not all-seeing and will die even if they have feats that say they should have easily survived. We're going to ignore that because the plot was written down and everything added on, so they were overglazed to the point of they kind of needed it. Yeah, just don't question Star Wars lore sometimes, man. It's because there's literally decades of lore built on top of lore, built on top of lore, and it's all the weirdest thing. And I'm being told he survived. He survived in Stargazer and defected. Oh, shit! I didn't know anyone from Blue Cosmos was allowed to not die horribly. That's kind of surprising.
Basically, these are rocket-propelled grappling hooks that are installed in the palms, the toes, and the heels of the Strike E, and as the wire is shot out, it is coated in a special polymer solution that makes it durable enough to handle up to 100 tons in a 1G environment.
Oh. That sounds like a lot. I have no idea how heavy a Gundam is.
Even when that 100-ton object is being swung around. And this is what gives these anchors a lot of options for ace pilots. We've seen them used for grappling enemies, capturing enemies, straight up destroying them, and even spider-manning around. But while the
because it's probably an easier way to do a full-on recoil than it is to use any verniers or in space, yeah. Saves on energy, probably.
Pilots were positive about these rocket anchors. They did pose their own challenges.
Getting caught up.
From an engineering point of view, the internal structure of the arms had to be completely reworked so that the inclusion of these things wouldn't lower their durability.
I can't tell if this is a cool or dumb idea.
They became much more expensive.
Maybe it's so dumb that it becomes cool.
In addition to that, their complex structure also made maintenance more difficult.
Yeah, if they have a retract feature instead of a one-time usage. Also, Davis mentioned, he was basically the Seed equivalent of a Cyber New type. But he wasn't a bad guy. Oh, shit. I thought everyone who got that equivalent had to become either dies horribly or is horrible and you hope to die horribly. Something, Witch from G-Quux Wave? That would be hilarious in so many ways. Oh, man. There would be a lot of fuckery going on there.
So yeah, even though the official word is that the Strike E had the same basic performance as the vanilla Strike, while being more energy efficient and easier to pilot, I beg to differ.
Oh?
Its paper specs alone make it superior to the original Strike, and then when in the hands of an ace, the difference becomes even larger. The Strike...
Did he just throw his weapon and let the opposing unit kill itself? Shit, that's actually a cool move.
He was able to push the design of the Strike to the limit with only one minor compromise. The main feature of the Strike was, of course, its striker packs, which is something that the Strike E did keep. But you might have realized something. The Strike E has upgraded shoulders. And while this was no problem for Sven's striker pack of choice, the IWSP pack, this
admittedly, the best choice usually,
was a problem with the full launcher and sword striker packs. Now, one solution would have been to simply use them without the shoulder options.
Oh?
But I guess that just wouldn't make Action any extra money, so instead, they proposed the Another Trials striker packs, slightly modified versions of the launcher and sword striker packs that would give the Strike E the full experience. And the Another Trial launcher striker was really the simplest of the two.
Wait, the Another Trial wasn't just the name of something IRL. This is an in-universe thing where they're literally trial Gundams. Oh, man. Because, yeah, they're making a profit on this one.
They simply took the combo weapons pod and stuck it to the backpack.
Yeah,
but they did include a swivel joint for easier target acquisition. The weapons themselves remained the same, and when equipped, the Strike E's VPS is changed to a moss green color. The Another Trial Sword Striker then took a slightly different approach. The backpack remained the same, but the Panzer Eisen rocket anchor now received a special brace where the Midas Messer Beam Boomerang could be mounted. And instead of one of these shields,
they went double boomerang. Sure, why not? I'm personally of the opinion of if you throw a weapon and you expect it to come back, either you're very good at catching it, or you shouldn't have thrown it in the first place. Because admittedly, if it's at range, is gun is a good reason. And if you're at short range, his sword is a good reason. Don't get me wrong, the boomerang looks cool, and rule of cool trumps everything, and I fully stand by that. But it just seems so needlessly stupid, but also so needlessly cool when it's done right.
The Strike E would now be equipped with two of these shields. Just like the launcher, the weapons themselves remain the same, although it is probably likely that the Schwert.
Also, I'm being told the guy who survived, he was upward to dive far out in space beyond the reach of any rescue or cooperate with a coordinator to successfully return to inhabit space. Yes, but this is Seed. You say that's the wise decision. I'm saying that's a very weird one because the general Seed opinion is, am I one of the main characters or an adjacent side character associated with the main character? If yes, make smart decision. If no, glory to Earth! Boom! Blow yourself up and do as much emotional damage to everyone else everywhere all the time, constantly. And I realize it's not glory to Earth is their battle cry, but I also don't care enough about that faction to ever try and get its blue pure Earth slogan down right. And even then, I'm kind of hurting myself by saying it that much because their faction doesn't deserve respect. And you might notice how I'm not specifically saying which faction, although I think everyone understands exactly which one. Yeah, there's almost no faction in C that deserves any respect whatsoever. Oh, and Cyber, he was a main character? Okay, that makes sense. I thought he was like maybe an antagonist character who just didn't get fucked over. But if he's got the main character syndrome going, okay, yeah, he's allowed to make smart decisions then.
Where here has an actual beam gun instead of simply a beam emitter. And the color of the VPS was now changed to blue. But the most famous striker pack for the Strike E was without a doubt the Noir Striker, a development of the IWSP that tried to bring the concept of the IWSP, which was being able to deal with any situation, in line with the design philosophy of the Strike E.
Yeah. Is it bad that I kind of wish they did a random thing where there was just a genius natural who just everyone thought was coordinator? I thought that'd be funny. I don't think it really matters here, just kind of got the idea. Now I'm thinking it would just be really hilarious because like, oh, he's just the coordinator. It's like, no, he ain't. Yeah, we don't have any idea what's up with this guy.
Which was geared towards close combat.
Just throwing Mikazuki in to do bullshit.
Meaning that the IWSP was way too bulky. As a result, the Noir Striker needed to compromise to be made both smaller and...
Are those rotating turret cannons on the wings? I can't tell if I like them or not. I mean, functionally, probably fine, but they look really small and underpowered by comparison. But then I said that I really like the small and even slightly reduced range of the pistols on this thing, so I can't really say it's a bad thing. Huh. Also being told from Zero and Wave, that's Ralu, Crusade, and Mulaflaga. Yeah.
Lighter. The IWSP has a pair of 150mm railguns and 105mm cannons that both focus on long-range sniping and bombarding. These were replaced by a development...
I'm being told those are not guns, those are sword handles. Sticking out of the wings? Sure.
Of the Exodus MAU M3 linear guns.
Ooh.
The MAU M3E4 twin linear guns. These bad boys offer a high rate of fire, lower energy usage, and more damage at closer ranges. Of course, at the cost of their long-range performance. The purely physical anti-ship swords then were replaced with two Fragrak 3 beam blades, meaning that they were now also effective.
Oh, that's what the handle was. It's literally the sword blade sticking outside. Why is it so bulbous? Personal choice? It's personal choice. Let's go with that one.
Against enemies outfitted with a variant.
It's probably supposed to look like the guard over top of the handle, but they just made it look like an orb instead.
Phase shift armor. Also, it is highly likely that these are based on the Gaia's Griffin 2 beam blades, because not only do they somewhat resemble each other, but the model numbers are also very similar. MRQ-17X and MRQ-10. And both of these weapons then are stored onto the variable aerodynamic wings that are meant to replace the raw thrust provided by the IWSP's thrusters and to also make the Strike E more agile through back maneuvering. And because they could, they also added a rocket anchor to the Noir Striker. The model number now has a T behind it, but it is never mentioned what the difference is, if there is any at all.
It's a tactical, not tail. I'm actually surprised they didn't add it from the ass to say it's just tail to make it seem like the not epi on it is. It's really not. But at the same time, I don't know why. For some reason, it kind of reminds me of that one. Different color scheme, different aesthetic, different pilots. It's probably just the anchors that do it, even if they're very different.
Its final big upgrade then is that unlike most other Striker packs, the Noir Striker is protected by VPS, and is also the stated reason why the Strike Noir typically does not use a shield.
VPS?
On the flip side though, this did lead to some production issues, resulting in less than 10 of these Striker packs being produced. One was used by Sven, and the others were reportedly issued exclusively to extended pilots
who probably got red-shirted pretty heavily, yeah. Oh, hey, Phantom, thank you for being a member at the Clean Shaven level. Thanks.
Belonging to the same unit. Part of this might have been because it was a Phantom Pain pet project, but the main reason was that the Noir Striker, just like the IWSP that it was based on, was very difficult to use. And this was despite the Strike E's AI and upgraded operating system. So while the Noir Striker could be used by other Striker Pack compatible mobile suits, it was said that it performed best with the Strike E. A combination.
So they gave the Freedom the double pistols. Or if that's not the Freedom, maybe it's something else, because the coloration looks off. Or it is still the Noir. Arise Vol base. Arsenal base? Arsenal base, that's what it is. Some prince, man.
That is, of course, famously known as the Strike Noir. Also, the main reason for its focus on close combat was because it was made to fit within the Alliance's doctrine of team-based combat.
Yeah.
It was designed to work well with the equally close combat-oriented Blue Duel and the long-range support-oriented Berde Buster.
Funny how this almost never works out.
One slightly customized Strike E then was piloted by Lucas O'Donnell, a coordinator who defected from Zaft and joined the Alliance. Visually...
Really? Okay, sure. I guess it was bound to happen, but why? Like, was he just pissing people off or something?
Speaking, it doesn't look too different, but the major upgrade lies in the limb control system of the machine.
Oh?
The Strike E already had a higher responsiveness and agility, thanks to the combat data from the first Bloody Valentine War,
Okay.
but Lucas was able to push things even further, thanks to his experience with both Alliance.
Why do I feel like this is the big brother character who's going to die horribly, but only after proving they're an utter badass? I don't know, it just has that appearance.
And Zaft machines.
I have no idea who he is, by the
And
way, so I could be
his
completely off
upgraded
base.
Control program took elements from both, allowing him to push the Strike E to the limit. Of course, this did also make the machine much more difficult
Seed
to
frame
pilot,
Astrays. Okay.
potentially to an impossible degree for a natural. And while Phantom Pain and Action Industries were busy at work with that Strike Noir, Fujiyama, who was one of their associates, decided to make their own version of the Strike E to
I don't know why, but this just reminds me of the G Gundam or Burning Gundam. It's probably the faceplate more than anything else.
capitalize on their success and to also become a big player in the mobile suit market. They were involved with the Action project, but they felt like they really needed a mobile suit of their own in order to achieve this. And with some help from Action,
Yeah, it's the head. It's definitely
they
the
were
head on
able
this
to
one.
make the GAT FJ108 Raigo Gundam, which means the Thundering Roar Gundam in Japanese. But I prefer to call it the We Have the Strike Gundam at Home.
Oh god, the disrespect. The sheer disrespect on that one. Oh, jeez. Also, according to Andre, he died. The IS or IWSP pack were given to the Gundam Stray Zero Custom. It was appeared in M1 development history. Oh, so he probably did actually die pretty horribly. Yeah. The Strike Gundam Weeb type.
Gundam. Because everything about this machine is simply copied over from the Strike Gundam, even down to the Striker packs.
Oh, God.
And it's all just modified a little.
I will admit, I think this one actually looks better on it because they just changed up the coloration. Maybe that's just me, though. Also because they put more missiles on it. That's definitely part of it. Like, they gave it a lot of DACA. It's like big cannon all over the place. Probably runs out of power immediately, but it looks cooler.
Little bit
The
to
rest,
make it
eh.
just different enough. Except for the beam rifle, the armor schneider, and the shield.
Oh.
Those are just taken from the Strike, verbatim.
Hey, if it
Although the
works.
armor schneiders are no longer stored in the hips, but now on the arms in small shield-esque pockets.
Okay,
And
that's
for
kind
the
of cool.
names of the bootleg Striker packs, Fujiyama again showed their Japanese heritage, naming them after the 3 imperial regalia of Japan.
Looks like the full armor
Magatama,
Gundam. Yeah.
the sword, and the mirror, becoming the Sun Bullet, the
Mirror?
Calibarn, and the Speculum. Yeah, one of these has definitely got
I'm sorry. The what? They didn't. They didn't. There's no way they actually.
and the Speculum.
Maybe when this was first aired in Japan, those words meant different things. Or were they going full on, hey, this sounds like a cool word in English, without realizing this is a medical device for female reproductive health checks? I mean, I hear they want to get fucked over sometimes on the bad designs, but I didn't think they meant it that on the nose. Nose, definitely the nose. They're just taking this one, man. I don't think I can make a joke that's more insulting than the one they gave themselves.
Yeah, one of these has definitely gotten a very different meaning in past centuries. Funny name aside then, the Speculum is the most straightforward of the three packs.
I am trying very hard to not go full 5-year-old on this.
Because it is literally just the Ale Striker combined with the
They just
data
had to plug it
gathered
in.
from the Cosmo Grasper, the upgraded space version of the Sky Grasper that Fujiyama was largely responsible for. As a result, in addition to changing the arm around a little bit,
Honestly, I'm coming around to the general design style of it, but yeah.
pack did have higher performance, and thanks to this higher performance, it now also had enough thrust to allow it to mount the same missiles as the Jet Striker,
Ooh.
giving it some more firepower.
I like more missiles.
And talking about firepower, we have the Sun Bullet, the Rygo's version of the Launcher
Sun
Striker
Bullet.
pack, which also incorporated combat data from the Alliance's
Oh, it's
other
just double
artillery
cannons.
support mobile suits, like the Buster and the Calamity. The main weapon remained largely the same, as the Agni Kai is simply an upgraded version of the standard Agni.
Also, Adrian, just reminding me, the Caliburn packs, the goddamn blade got bent. Yep. That seems like it could be a little unpleasant.
But its secondary weapons got a significant boost. Instead of a 2-tube missile launcher, it now had a missile pod featuring 8 missiles, and instead of a Vulcan gun, it uses an upgraded version of the Calamity's Todesblock Plasma Sabo Bazooka, the
Ooh.
Todesblock Kai Plasma Sabo Cannon.
That's still a name.
And when outfitted with this striker pack, its VPS armor turns a dark green.
Ooh.
And then on the other end of the spectrum, we have the Calibarn, the Rygo's version of the Sword Striker pack. And again,
And of course, they're going now British weeb. Caliburn. Yeah. Just a slightly altered name for the sword that chooses.
we see some extra upgrades. Although the upgrade done to the Schwertgewehr seems to be pointless at best, and a potential point of failure at worst.
Beyond the
The
others?
Schwertgewehr Kai now has a joint between the hilt and the blade.
Why?
Also that it can be slightly
Also, am I the only one looking at this and going, did they make the shield a fighter? That sounds like a bad idea.
angled to prevent its tip from dragging across the ground when stored on the backpack. So instead of simply mounting it,
Like it has a third leg. Like sometimes you just have to bend the tip so it fits. I am not going to beat the allegations of being a 5-year-old, am I? Oh, God.
higher on the backpack, which could have also solved this problem, they added a joint to the part of the sword that is under the most stress.
It might have performance issues.
So yeah, I'm not surprised
Also
that
being told that's a bigger grappling shield. Oh, okay, that's a little less horrible.
they also added the Khaled Bulk Giant Beam Saber to its arsenal as a secondary blade.
Yeah.
On its arms then, we find the upgraded versions of the Miedesmesser Beam Boomerang and the Panzer Eisen Rocket Anchor. The Miedesmesser Kai is mounted onto the right forearm, and it is now a physical boomerang that generates a beam across its cutting edge.
So it's a boomerang, but with more boomerang for the boomerang. Sure.
And the Panzer Eisen Kai is mounted onto the left forearm, and now is a larger claw with more attacking power. And in addition to these three definitely not bootleg striker packs,
Yep. It's like, I'm just going to say nothing. I'm just saying nothing. We will say nothing. There's nothing to say.
it could also still equip regular striker packs. Which then I guess means that
Really?
the Rygo striker packs could also be usable by other striker pack compatible mobile suits.
Huh.
So
That might be more
all
useful.
in all, despite being a Strike Gundam ripoff / clone, depending on who you ask,
It is
the
fitting.
performance was there. Unfortunately for Fujiyama, though,
They got sued?
there were no reports of the machines being adopted, nor were there any further developments.
Probably because they looked at it and went, we already have this. Yeah.
So
A boom.
this might
Harangue.
be indicative of how their plan to become a core player in the mobile suit market went.
Probably not well.
And Fujiyama wasn't the only
What?
one to try
Oh,
to
the
create
librarians,
a custom
yeah.
version of the strike.
Admittedly, that looks cool. I know the shield's basically acting as a cover for whatever's going on in the back and probably for the actual thrusters. And I'm okay with that.
Librarian Works somehow got their hands on a vanilla strike, and just like Action Industries, they modified it to fit perfectly with its pilot, NDHE,
What?
which is short for No Data, High Error. He
What?
excelled at close-range combat, so the Strike Gundam was kinda combined with the Ale Strike.
Wait, did they just give it an AI pilot? Oh, shit. Also, Adrian, this is why the Rygo Gundam were the only in storage ones that never adopted and got stolen. Oh my god.
Pack to create the highly mobile Gale Strike. And the biggest
Ooh.
change was, without a doubt, the shoulders. These now incorporated an improved version of the Ale Striker's thruster pods,
I just realized the shoulders on this thing are as big as the chest for the rest of the Gundam. Holy
granting the
shit.
Gale excellent maneuverability in every direction. This then made it especially deadly in close combat, where it could easily outmaneuver its enemies.
Yeah.
Other upgrades included better head sensors, which required a different...
Okay, either this is multiple pieces of plastic or you have a sticker there and oh god, that would utterly kill me. Like, it's all the tiny little stickers, man. Plastic put in there, tiny little fiddly parts, sure, they work well. Gundam does a great job on that. These stickers would be a giant pile of, I don't think I can do that. Oh no. Also, the librarian parts are all carbon humans. Oh, clones of pilots they chose to clone. Oh, they're carbon copies then.
Stronger cooling solution, resulting in a different faceplate.
Librarians, man.
The knee joints were upgraded to allow for better mobility, which then in turn also required better cooling, which required cooling fins in the middle, which then also increased the weight and the height of the machine.
Yeah.
Of course, it also got a new striker pack, the Shield Striker. Essentially a slimmed down version of the Ale Striker, which now also mounts the shield on a support arm. Usually,
Which they definitely took off UC for the Gundams that just had multiple shields on arms around them. Yeah.
the shield is mounted on the lower left
More
arm of
IRL
the
design
mobile suit,
influence anything.
but this isn't ideal when using close combat.
I don't know why, but the sword looks off. It's like, it just looks like it shouldn't be this color for some reason. Maybe it's just me and not liking the blue-orange setup. And as cool as the model looks, I don't like the sword. It looks wrong.
Weapons, and rather than defending the front of the mobile suit,
Also, the copy of the
this
Gale is not
shield
exact
is
copy.
used for
Oh.
defending the rear of the mobile suit, or to serve as additional flight controls. For the weapons then, it still has the Eagle-Stellung 75mm Seawiz guns, beam rifle, beam sabers, and armor schneider combat knives, although they are now mounted onto the shoulders, but it does have a new main weapon, 2 wing saws, with a very peculiar feature.
Actually, now that I look at it, the undermounted guns being solid single color blue also look off. This is one of those models where you need to paint parts of it, huh? Like, the general design is fine, but I think it definitely is missing something.
Just like the armor schneiders, they vibrate to cut through an enemy's armor, but the frequency of these vibrations can be changed on the fly. So, if the Gale
Ah, it has a high intensity vibration function. No one tell Ariel about this.
Strike can identify the enemy and the armor it's using, it can change
Yeah,
to the exact
even in this art, I just don't like the
frequency that will
coloration
give
of it.
maximum cutting performance. Something that will even allow it to cut through phase shift armor. And on top of that, these blades also serve a non-offensive purpose. because of their shape, they become subwings when stored on the hips.
Okay, kind of works. Also, I'm being told carbon humans were copies of pilots who were dead, except for a couple of them. Okay. Yep.
And when in use, they serve as ambac. Again, all for the purpose of making this the perfect close combat mobile suit, which is also where the machine got its name from. The idea behind it is that it can blow through the enemy like a gale, taking out whoever it encounters.
It's a cool looking mech, though.
And then the final official machine that we have to talk about.
Okay, unironically, that is just cool looking. I know I've seen it before. I didn't think anything of the show, but just looking at it right now from this angle, that is really neat.
Is a strike variant that was planned, but never...
This is one of the metal models, isn't it? Oh. And I'm being told, no, it's a 1 of 100 scale, probably, yeah. No grade 1 of 100. Oh, wait, 1 of 100, like only 100 made, or... Doug, I need to clarify. Is it 1 of 100 made because there's no grade, it's just a limited amount of print? Or they just made it without actually making a mass production because it just wasn't their favorite one? I have no idea.
Implemented.
No grade.
The gun barrel strike. The Alliance top brass's original plan for when the Archangel made it back to base was to assign the strike to Mula Flaga. And because he had high spatial awareness, he would be provided with the gun barrel striker pack.
Also, is the 1 of 100 scale. Okay, and admittedly, good choice on them, because giving him bits would probably be the best thing they could do with it.
Unfortunately for the Alliance, though...
They're literally just mocking up the... They literally just... On the one hand, it looks really cool. No grade means it's not high grade or anything, it's just a kit. Oh, okay. Similar scale to Master Grade, though, according to Kenneth. They literally just put the machine on its back. They literally just duct taped them together. I hate how it actually looks cool, though.
So they would lose both the strike
did that.
and Mu. So the gun barrel striker would instead be assigned to Morgan Chevalier and his 105 dagger. Which you can also find out more about in my dagger development history.
Yeah.
And then the real final thing that I want to mention is that in the Comic Bomb Bomb magazine...
That's a choice. I'm not sure what that choice is, but it's definitely a choice someone made. Okay. It's like they're trying to go Cuban Generalismo, but with a French mustache.
They had a special kind of Gundam Seed MSV series. They asked for the readers to send in their ideas, and then based on those ideas, B-Craft would illustrate 5 different Strike Gundams.
Oh, that's cool. This is the one of them?
The problem is that even though I do have a description for all 5,
he doesn't have images?
I only have a good picture of 1, a really bad picture of 2.
Admittedly, that looks pretty cool. It's just more rocket. I can't really tell what we're looking at here, but it doesn't look bad. That's fine. This one actually looks really cool. I just realized it has a rocket on the edge as well. Oh, God.
And no picture of the other 2. So...
Also, according to Duck, the no-grade kit is the Chinese Strike Gundam. So they phased it out. Oh, okay.
I'll see if I can get my hands on those magazines, and when I do, that will become the 4th and final part of the Strike's development history.
Wait, did he actually make a 4th one?
Until that time comes, this has been all for the Strike. So let me know down below which Strike Gundam variant is your favorite. For me, it is very simple. The Strike Noir.
I kind of like the double guns on it, man. It is cool. The sword... Not sure how I feel about that, but it's a cool looking mech.
Not only is it my favorite Strike variant, it's also one of my favorite Gundams of any timeline.
Really?
And depending on the day, even my top favorite. But that has been all for this video. Don't forget to check out FX Creations' Strike Gundam collection. As always, a big thank you to the Patreon supporters.
I'll be honest, I'm actually a little surprised that everything going on right here was that Gundam the noir of all of them being his favorite. Like, possibly of just Gundams in general. Because there's so many others, but I guess, you know, everyone has a favorite. For me, it's probably Wing. Although, I'll be honest, after Tall Geese, maybe Epion comes in there pretty close, but nah, it's probably Tall Geese even after that. I mean, like, the strike's fine, but they always just never struck me as the craziest designs that get them. Hell, even some of the things out of UC, this, like the Hazel variants, kind of get my, ooh, shiny attention more. I guess more he's estimating things on actual practicality to use, where I'm looking at it as fiddly bits. I like it. Probably more of a me thing than anything else. The squirrel and goblin parts are agreeing to say, no, you like this now. This is your favorite. Fuck your opinion. You like it. And it would work. Also, Anne said the unicorn. Honestly, I love the unicorn, but it just doesn't have as many fiddly bits. Although the perfect one does, but I am never going to consider that because that is a very, oh god, why, perfect grade kit. And admittedly, that's one of those goals I would like to set to, like, maybe if we hit 200,000 and this channel is like utterly not needing to worry about shit, to do that as a build someday on stream. But that would be like a what the fuck level of progression for many ways. One, my ability not to lose pieces. That is a problem that I've had. And two, just me not losing track of what I'm doing. Yeah. It would be so cool, though. Seriously, this is my problem with the entire Gundam development one. I watch, and it's awesome, and then I'm like, I need this, because it's so cool. And Duck, I am explicitly relying about the fact that you keep posting links to really cool things, and I'm just sitting here going, oh, that's pretty. And it's not just you anymore. Everyone's doing it because we did an entire segment during this video of all the cool shit. And admittedly, it is cool. I still have the links to some of the really cool Tall Geese variants, and they are still tempting. If they're still there, I might give in to temptation. And Duck, you have the 1/100th scale, or 1 of 100th scale, Green Astray kit. It's getting a reprint. Like 1-to-1 reprint or upgraded reprint? Oh, okay. Ooh, and wait, if you like the Woundwort, that is also a really cool one as well. Especially if you get the full plug-in, but that thing is chunky. Like, you need a stand to hold that thing. I don't mean like a regular stand to prop it up. I mean like to support it so it doesn't crush whatever it's under, because that is big. And we need a Gunpla channel now. That would be awesome. Also, Knight, super heavy fan of Battletech? Yes. Yes, I am. And I do a lot of dumb things in it. So yeah. Oddly enough, though, my favorite mech in there is not one of the super heavies. In Battletech, probably just the standard Marauder. Both in gameplay and out of it. I mean, I'll do a lot of stuff with Lokits to distract around, and Atlases just to be big, heavy, fuck you. But I'll just put a Marauder, stand it up, snipe. It kind of works. Duck can attribute to it. When I play a Marauder, I'm surprisingly good at headshots. Missing everything else, but surprisingly hitting the heads. Don't know why. Just happen to be good at it. Not good at it any other game, though. Just that one. Either way, you guys know the deal. I'm going to go and try not to think about Gundam. Just think about baseball. That'll bore me. I never really got into baseball or any other sport. I like playing them. Suck to playing them. But I'll just do that instead, because if I think about Gundam any further, I'm going to get a Tall Geese. It'll happen. It's probably going to happen eventually. I'm just really putting it off at this point. But it looks so cool. No. I'm stopping. We're stopping. We're good. We're good. We're not good. I'm actually very tempted. I know if I scroll up long enough in Discord, I will find the links Duck posted to the Tall Geese. Oh, and it was the Tall Geese Flugel as well. It was really good. No! You see, this is the problem. This right here. Yeah, and Duck is just saying it's insane how good I am. It's disgusting. No, the disgusting part was we got a perfectly undamaged Marauder. Not a Marauder, sorry, a Mad Cat on the first mission. And we were 2 points away from grabbing it. And because I did so little damage, we couldn't. That was disgusting. Yeah. That too. Either way, I'll see you guys in the next one. Tomorrow, we're going to have a whole bunch of videos, and one of them is Chris Chan. I agreed to this. I have made mistakes. I'm aware. I'll see you guys in the next one. And if you don't mind, Zero, I'm going to go out and get that cheese for emotional damage from my wife, because she had to get dragged with me for the dentist stuff this morning. Yeah. It's out of stock again, Duck? I will have to wait until it's back in stock, but it also means I was able to wait long enough to get rid of the temptation. That is actually something I need, because I would probably give in right now. If it was still in stock, I would grab it right now. There's always that. I'll see you guys tomorrow. Adios.